To sync it up. Welcome back, brother.
Dude, we've upgraded.
Oh, yeah, a little bit.
Sick. This is dope.
There was a lot of thoughts of... It's like, this was such a shit show. Like, you can see, no one else can see. Yeah. Probably doesn't want me to talk about that, but... There's so much shit in here. And I thought we were going to have to completely rearrange this room. Like, I thought we were going to have to, like, move all of her clothes out and everything.
No, this works.
Yeah. Which I think, because of what I was worried about, what she was worried about was... I moved this was in the corner. And I moved it out a bit. And I don't want to have to move it back and forth every time.
No, that's stupid.
But this feels like it'll be doable.
Yeah, for sure. No, it's like a full... Yeah, it feels like a...
Because this is also where I work from home.
Oh, money.
Right?
This is exactly what you need.
Yeah. Cheers, man.
Hell yeah, dude.
This is coming back in.
Yeah.
Almost 2 years? 11, 17, 21.
November 17th.
That's nuts. Lots happened in between then.
Yeah, we were talking about COVID and stuff. Like, how fresh that was.
God. I don't even remember. What did we talk about? Super Bowl? Costa Rica?
Yeah. We strayed into some parallel universe shit, too.
Yeah, we did. You got a podcast now, too.
I do.
How you liking it?
It's dope.
It's
I
fun.
really like it. It's
Yeah.
like, I think, like, I always wanted to be an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
Not to just fucking dive straight into the weird shit. God damn.
Right off the bat,
I
baby.
didn't come here to give spiels about my life. But, like, the entrepreneur thing didn't work out because I don't work that hard. Like, there's an itch.
Yeah, no, I get it.
There's an itch, but I'm not really scratching it much. So I think a certain amount of the podcast thing, which I would assume you were feeling similar about, is like kind of like just figuring shit out on your own. It's kind of fun.
Big
like,
time.
At least in that, that's fun to set up time and do shit every week and, chat bullshit.
And like when entrepreneurs is like, you got to do failure. Like I don't have that much money to like go and do something and fail. So if this fails, whatever.
Nor am I passionate about
anything.
Yeah. Like I'm going to continuously lose money on this just because of my pursuit of the common goal. I'm like, no, dude, I'll just work 9 to 5.
You guys have been going pretty consistent now.
We've been going consistent.
Wait, Mecca Banner. Check it out. Local soccer podcast.
Shouts, local. Yeah, we've been going for, I think we've called this season 2, so we're gonna start season 3 in January.
Hell yeah.
Which isn't congruent with soccer season at all, bro. But I think we just started season 2 because that's when we started
back up again.
Making podcasts. So December, we're like, yeah, fuck it.
Season 2, we're back.
Season 2. But yeah, it's fun. We had like Josh Yarrow.
Who was it you had on?
Josh Yarrow, he's a center back for St. Louis City, and he, when we interviewed him and kind of what we all assumed his role in the club would be, that's him up top there. It was just kind of like a utility center back. He's had MLS experience. He wasn't really on a ton of starting rosters in his history. And then he ended up being one of our most competent center back options. So from when we recorded with him, unbelievably nice dude too. Just like,
how old is this kid?
I think he's a year older than us, maybe.
Oh, okay.
26, 27, 28-ish area. He went to Georgetown. Story's wild. He came over here from Kenya, where he was in a Manchester United football academy, affiliated. Yeah. And then the top guy there helped him find prep school to go to high school in California, and then he played 2 years at Georgetown. Like, damn. In Georgetown, we were sitting there like all those guys that I record with are college soccer players. And that's a huge program. Like that, it was a super competitive program. He got drafted in 2018, and then he's just kind of been a journeyman. And yeah, I mean, just the nicest guy ever.
Did he ever make it overseas?
No. He came played college, and then that was his best route to professional soccer was college to the super draft or whatever they call it, and then bringing him in. But he's the only player that we've been able to interview, and he's so nice. Like we could send him a message tomorrow and be like, awesome. Yeah, I'd do it again for sure. So yeah, shout out Josh. But that's the objective is to. These guys are so much more accessible than I thought they were going to be. Sure. Or, baseball players or, these guys are just dudes like us. And a lot of them are from not here.
Right.
So they're just, looking for human interaction.
Yeah, seriously.
Normal people. So yeah, that's the objective, and it's like, again, the entrepreneur thing. None of us are putting like 110% of this. Like, it's really fun to have on the side. We've, however many fucking tens of 60 listeners that we have a week.
Tens of 60.
Dope. Sounds cool.
Yeah, exactly.
I hope one person takes something. We said this last time. I hope one person takes something from the however hour long we talk. And make them laugh. Or
if you get one text from it, that's dope. All you could ever ask for.
Super cool, for sure. So it's fun. I enjoy it. And like we say all the time, it's like we talk like that to each other all the time. Let's just record it. Like, there's no sense in just...
Do you do all of them or any of them in person?
We used to. We haven't recently, because there's like 6 guys of us.
Yeah.
Like 6 of us, so...
Are all 6 of you on each and every one of them?
No. Okay. Which is nice.
I listened to a few of them. I haven't listened to all of them.
It's nice to have that many guys to be able to be like, yo, I can't make it Monday. Like,
because not 6 people are not always going to be lined up perfectly.
No, but I've also done, like, 2 recent podcasts with just me and, like, Nick Hayflinger. Just us.
Yeah.
And, like, we can chat some shit, but it's not as fulfilling without the, like, panel, for sure. But the one that they used to do them in person, and it's, like, it's so much more personal. Like, you can chat immediately at someone without a delay on a whatever software we're using, and it hit harder and be funnier.
Yeah.
Like, it's not as, we're waiting, like, for delays to come through, like, no, you...
That corporate-ass half-laugh.
Yeah, dude, yeah, seriously. But it's a good time.
What was you guys are on Zoom calls. What was that software that Henry was tweeting about?
Zencaster.
What's that? What's the problem with that? For people who, like, if anyone else is listening to this with podcast stuff.
It's just like a recording software. So
like this thing, but a piece of software. This thing that everything's plugged into.
Yeah, but like
for
the
your
software
Zoom
that
call
does it.
or whatever.
So
it's
like a Zoom call essentially, and it sends you a link, but then it connects to your audio and it records your audio as a separate file. Everyone's as a separate file, and then it records the camera as it's just a bunch of moving pieces to be able to upload one collective video. And 2 times in the last month, it's lost 40 minutes of a podcast. So the cell was like, you can start and stop it, and like, and then you can just take the collective pieces, and it would be way easier to edit. And
big
upload
time.
Immediately.
Big time.
So like, we would just do one shot on a Zoom call originally, and just one take.
Oh boy!
Hope it works.
Yeah,
so
right.
The editing,
that's a fat ass file,
dude. Yeah, Dobes was saving on his work computer, and we hit a point where he's like, "Yo, I can't keep saving these on it." But it, like, when you'd start and stop it, it would be finicky, because if it didn't catch one person's audio or one person's visual, then it would record everyone else while it was happening, but not tell you that this person was being recorded. So we'd finish an episode and be like, we lost Henry for 45 minutes.
Because you don't know in the time. You can't be, like, fixing it.
Yeah, so, like, we can't put this out because there's 20 seconds of dead space whenever Henry says anything. Like, we're all 3 talking about it, but...
have you guys found a solution?
No. No, not for real.
Because, like, I haven't dabbled in that. It's like, when he tweeted about that, I was trying to help, but I was like, I don't think this is what you guys are looking for.
We've got a guy who like, runs a multimedia company or is high up in it and has a studio and, like,
hell yeah,
like, helps other people run and produce podcasts. And we reach out to Dietz, so shout out Dietrich, but he's sent us a couple different softwares, and we're finding that the more accomplished non-in-person softwares are this other one that I can't think of, River something.
Sure.
But then, you go on Reddit, and Reddit's like, no, it's just as shitty as Reddit. You can.
That's a bummer.
Yeah. So, in-person is easier to a certain degree if you have the, like, capabilities and setup, but organizing schedules
it's difficult. It's so difficult.
It's tough.
Like, luckily you were just like, yeah, let's do it on Thursday. I'm like, perfect. There's been times where I've reached out to people, and, like, we schedule and reschedule like 4 times, and it's just 2 people trying to align schedules, let alone 6 or 4 and a soccer player.
For sure.
Like that.
We were all like, he wanted to, or he could only do it at like 3:30 on like a Tuesday once. So I was like, just blocked a 2-hour meeting on my calendar and was like, I can't not do this.
You have to. You have
100%. To. So, the schedules are tough. It's like, dude, I have like another burner Twitter. Though.
Right.
Like,
yeah.
I have like a professional.
I was curious, the Twitter account because it's always in my feed. I'm like, and some of them are like, that might be Hoover, but then like they have responded to something, and I'm like, that's not. You all have access to it.
We all have access to it. Henry and I are the only ones that are like full blown active. And yeah, so I would say it's probably like 70-30 me to Henry. Because if he ever responds to like a Man United anything, it's like, that's not me. Like we had to actually tell him a while ago to be like, dude, we're not a Man United page. Like I understand the sentiment, but like we have another burner on a personal account that you can use. So I was like, I hit everything. I just talk shit. So that's fun because like it's a whole different feed. It's a lot of St. Louis like local.
Oh, it's probably a whole different feed.
Like I
didn't think about that.
I've got the English soccer one for my personal that I placed in London, which is hysterical.
Like you put the location in London. That's
London
great.
So that I get like that like focus area of and that. Like, they're all hysterical on their own plane.
Because they've got their own lingo and their own whatever.
Oh, my God. The European one. Yeah, I'm picking things up from them from reading tweets. And, like, I have
That's fantastic.
a couple hundred followers. And I have admitted that I'm an American. But I'm definitely one with the community. And, like, I'll get a random follow from people because my name's popping up.
Right.
Like, other people follow me. So
that's hilarious.
It's by no means a big deal.
And, like, I will never find this account. I would never come across this account.
No, you'd never find this account. I think 3 or 4 people that aren't, like, Dobes or, like, those guys. Like Max, Dan Hornsey. A couple of these people, there's like 3 or 4 that follow it. And like I'm sometimes just completely unhinged on that one, just firing off thoughts, and I'll get a text from Hornsey like, rough morning. Rough morning.
How much did you lose today?
Yeah, dude, he's a super sympathetic soccer fan buddy, but like, you can know and you can tell when I'm like, that's when I really just unleash. Like everyone in this country, like people are tweeting at every play of an NFL football game about the Steelers. Like, of course, I'm going to talk about that one flick that Destiny had on the, and it, like, yeah.
I mean, dude, fucking ESPN jizzes their pants over a Mahomes pass that he didn't even complete.
I hate ESPN. Dude,
I can't stand ESPN,
if we want to rip
bro.
into them, I hate ESPN.
I am so glad they're going under. I don't know if they're going under. It seems like
they're come out with some financials for the first time, like, ever?
They might have. Well, it was like 2 or 3 months ago. They laid off, like, the biggest names they've ever had. And they brought in McAfee, which I guess is they're hoping to be their saving grace.
That's it.
I don't know what else they're going to do.
3 hours a day.
I fucking hate ESPN. Oh, my God.
I don't want to say, like, we're both huge Pat McAfee fans. I don't feel like he's selling out because it's like he's still keeping the brand. Yeah. He's still keeping with what it is. But, like, it's almost like seeing him every day makes him less special.
Yeah,
like,
I agree.
You've got random normal people tweeting about him. Like, I've seen tweets about AJ Hawk. Like, I've seen this guy's face a million times. I've never seen him speak once.
Right.
Like, which is kind of valid. But, like, I hate seeing randos tweet about negatively necessarily. Yeah. My guy.
I knew it was... because, like, there was a video, I probably sent it to you, this might have been, it was when he did his FanDuel deal, where he made, like, $200 and some million, and, like, there was a video of him just going, like right now, up to his boy's house, surprise him with, like, $100,000 in cash, something like that. And I sent it to my parents, because I was like, look at this, like, this is awesome. Yeah. And my dad was like, who the hell's this punter? And I'm like, it's a Colts punter, blah, blah, blah. And now whenever me and my dad catch up about college football, he's like, do you see what McAfee was saying? I'm like, God, you see him now too?
Come around, yeah.
I was like, Jesus. He is my dad seeing him? That means he's everywhere.
Yeah.
But I don't know if he was a sellout. Something that I think is, me and Davis have talked about this. I've watched him forever. Well, forever. I really got big on him during COVID when I worked for Britt's mom because I was just doing, like, busy work, like filing work, basically. So I needed something on, like, consistently.
Your COVID adventures are hilarious.
Yeah, dude, it was all over the place. And he was on for 4 hours.
Yeah.
And every day. And I was like, this bangs. Whatever. His antics. like who he is, like his persona is very big, and like how he does College Game Day with a sleeveless shirt on. Yeah. And, like, he got married and, like, he cut off his, like, suit pants.
Yeah, I saw that, yeah.
And Davis has always been like, this guy's a douche. I'm like, dude, don't watch it. Just listen to it, and you will love it.
Yeah.
And he's grown a big fan of it. Because, like, that College Game Day, he had on Deion Sanders, The Rock, I forget who else. He had three big names on. And it wasn't just like the interviews where there's like on there for like 4 minutes.
Yeah.
The Rock was on for like almost an hour.
Just chilling.
Yeah. And he's asking like really good questions. And now there was a couple weeks ago, Davis texted me. He's like, I'm a big fan of McAfee. Like, he's a really good interviewer.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, he knows his shit, man.
There's something about him being like from even his like beginnings, like humble beginnings, like all that, whatever, soccer player and stuff.
Yep.
So like he's a
shithole West Virginia.
Shithole West Virginia. He's like a well-rounded dude in sports. He gets to the NFL, which is a lot of people's like ultimate premium goal. And for him, it was like, yeah, that'd be sweet, like for sure. And then he gets there and he's a punter, so he's like not a he was this personality the whole time,
right?
But he was a punter. So, like, he couldn't do that and do, like, I see where his, like, issue was with splitting ways with it. Like, he signed a Barstool and stuff, and they signed him to a lucrative deal, I'm sure. But, like, it's cool to see that, like, some of these guys, like, football's not it. Like, they're not trying to actually, like, making it football was sweet. Like, he was pumped about it. But then he was an entrepreneur and an interviewer, and, like, I don't know if making money in podcasting is a thing, but he was, like, really one of the first to figure that out.
Yeah, big time.
Host live shows, and,
the live show took him nuclear.
For sure. But, like, I do think his personality's grown.
Yeah.
But it's still, like,
it's still mad.
Like, you can see.
If you go and watch the Colts highlights, like, he was always that big swinging dick guy.
Yeah, he's always that guy. And, like humble while being a huge personality and like totally respects his roots. Like, there's so much to root about him for. And I'm afraid now that he's getting this big. It's like, it can only go, I mean, you can make more money, but you can be, and people are tweeting every week, like, get this fucking Pat McAfee clown off. When in reality, everyone our age and younger is like, more.
Yes.
I want to see more of this dude.
It's like his YouTube live would, like, on a random Wednesday, like, NFL is like they're mainly an NFL show.
Yeah.
And they'll dabble in the other sports. Yep. And it'll be like a Wednesday in like May, and he has like 120,000 people watching. And I'm like, dude, what?
What do you guys do?
Yeah, exactly. It's like, I get it that I don't work that much, but this many people?
Dude, I know. And I only see it now because, like, we don't have cable, which a lot of people don't because it's a stupid expense. No, it's streaming. But, the only time I do watch cable is when I'm at the gym, and I go a lot of times at lunch, and I'm pleasantly surprised every day to see Pat McAfee on the screen. I'm like,
hell yes. Hell yes.
Getting some fucking reps in. And Aaron Rodgers Tuesdays and stuff.
It's so crazy.
So wild. I did see that they pay him a shit ton of money.
I was guessing. I was like, I get that they're probably friends, but this is a lot of time.
Like, every Tuesday, it hit a point where I was like, what? How are they?
I know.
Why is Aaron Rodgers this free at 12 o'clock?
Right, exactly.
He's an NFL quarterback.
It's like he's getting $25,000 this 30 minutes.
Yeah, exactly. He was in the summer talking. Literally every time he comes up, I'm there on Tuesday at lunch a lot, and it comes up, and right underneath it, it's got all of his accolades, and then it says ayahuasca enthusiast. Like, how do they get away with this?
It's so good. And I love how, like, did you see what the show is Shane Gillis?
The one where he's like, no, you can cuss. He's like, fuck. And everyone goes, yes.
I love it, dude. That shit's so good. Because it's so, like, if I was in that position,
I feel the same way.
If like Pat McAfee told me I could cuss, I'm like, fuck.
I like, God, I don't need to go on a tangent about Shane Gillis either, but he's another one of those guys that I think could just relate to.
Yeah,
like,
big time.
The reason he makes me laugh is because we have similar humors, because we're, like, kind of similar.
Yeah.
Like, in a certain way, just not knowing what to do on a live major show, even though you're, like, something of a celebrity yourself. Like, that's relatable as fuck.
There was a podcast, I was listening to, I feel like that's why I've liked Bert, because...
Same.
Yeah. And I was listening to him one time. I think he might have been a guest on Rogan. I don't remember if it was that or Two Bears, whatever. And he was like, listen, I know my crowd. Like, I know it's generally overweight white guys with a beard who has a girlfriend that's a little too hot for them. And I was listening to it with Britt in the car, and I, like, hit her. And I was like, did you just hear that? She's like, oh, God, what? And I rewound it, and she laughed for, like, 20 minutes. I was like, yeah, that's...
It's really funny, like, you say that because he had on his special I watched with Monica coming back from a Chicago wedding. I just put it up. She had a little dash thing.
Yeah.
I just played a special on YouTube. And one of the just, like, off jokes he had was, like, girls, I know you're only here because your boyfriend was telling you, like, ooh, babe, this is the one he talks about in the podcast I showed you. Like, and I was like,
this is us right now.
Right? That's the crowd.
I love it. It for whatever reason, it's the relatability.
Yeah, which... You don't find a ton.
Like, I'm never going to fucking relate to The Rock.
No.
The Rock had a podcast, I wouldn't listen to it.
I don't, dude, I thought Rob Dyrdek was going to be who I was going to be when
yes.
I grew up.
Yep.
And then Rob Dyrdek became this psycho, crazy, like, ultra, mega, like time-blocked millionaire, which you have to do to a certain extent to become who you are.
Yeah, he's, like, borderline crazy now.
Dude, I had a comment on one of his most recent Instagrams that it was like 1,200 likes or something, and it was him talking about how he only drinks coffee from elevation. No, not even from elevations, from locations in the world where gorillas live.
What the fuck?
That's it. Like,
did he have a reasoning?
Yeah, probably. I was just so off put by it.
What was your comment?
It was just like, dude, 13-year-old Andy is so upset by this. Like, he was my absolute ride or die hero, and now he's talking about, like, I get mad at myself if I don't wake up by 4 a.m. Mm-hmm. Like, you know, it's just the thing that I do now in my day, and he, like, talks the same way, and it's like, no. Stop, dude.
I saw a tweet the other day. It was like, can we all agree that Ridiculousness is the worst show of all time?
So dumb. And the fact that he's still making new episodes and still
There's been like 5,000 episodes.
He had one. I've not actually listened to his full podcast because it's like the art of being.
I've seen clips of it, and there's some. Yeah, I get enough of that.
I get enough. But he talked one time about ridiculousness and how they recorded it. And they recorded, like...
Oh, I think I saw this.
It was, like... I don't remember. It was, like, 70 or 80 episodes in a month.
Yeah, because he was doing, like, 2 or 3 a day or some shit like that.
He was like, I've got an entire month devoted to X amount of episodes per... And he was just, you know, it's, like, scheduled bullshit that he always talks about. But
see if we can find it.
It was so wild to hear him talk about that. And now it makes total sense because it's on every single fucking minute of every day on MTV. Like, I'm so glad I don't have cable anymore because I don't have to just flip a channel. And
that's like the only thing. Productivity system. Yeah, he talked about this shit where it's like all color graded. I remember seeing this.
Like,
he's turning like a borderline nut job.
Yeah, that's cool, bro. But... I liked watching you skate and shoot tennis balls at your employees in a factory.
This is what it is. He timestamps his day, and then like every month and every week he looks back on how much he's like 2020. He spent the most time doing a Deirdre machine, whatever that is.
Oh, that's his like entrepreneurship brand. It's like an angel investing company.
Okay, gotcha.
Dude,
This is kind of a nutty little graphic.
You want to fucking tell me... here's where I draw the line. I see Life, Rob, and Bree, which is his wife, and then another section called Life, Kids. Throw me off a cliff.
Yeah.
Where I'm segmenting times of my life to hang out with my family.
Like, do you think he's gotten his schedule 17 minutes to take kids to and from school?
Oh,
probably,
100%.
Right?
100%. Dude.
How old is he?
You're telling me how to live my life with my family? No. If you can be that rich, bro, good for you. Is he 40-something?
49. Kettering, Ohio. That's where I was born.
He's another... Really? No shit?
Yeah, that's funny. I was born at the Kettering, Ohio Hospital.
That's wild, isn't it?
That is wild. I knew that because the first skate park he built.
Was in Kettering?
Remember that, like, foundation he started where he, like, donated skate parks or whatever?
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure the first one was in Kettering.
That was the cool Rob. When was the last time you saw Rob do something like that? Like,
how? Yeah, that's what. When did he sell his factory?
Yeah. Wait, where's all this? Like, he used to do all sorts of charity.
Yeah, dude, you were doing donuts in the T-Rex.
Oh, bro, who's got that? I think they still have the factory. Oh,
100 million. I mean, I believe that.
Yeah, it's not as much as he acts like he has.
No.
Are you kidding me? You know, have you watched any of the Wrexham stuff with Ryan Reynolds?
Yeah.
Ryan Reynolds is valued like $365 million or something.
Oh, I guess at least.
And he'll just fucking get on a plane and go to Wrexham, Wales to watch a couple games. Like, obviously, there's business involved in all of that, and he's scheduled probably very tightly, but he'll just get up and go on a fucking plane and go see them play. Like,
right.
Why, you don't have $100 million and you're regulating your time that you spend with your wife and kids? Blow me. Yeah.
Beyond
get out of here, dude.
Give me the old MTV Rob back. Can you slam me one of these?
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you. That show was the shit, though, man. From Robin Big. Robin Big was like, I looked forward to that show.
I came home every day.
Grazie.
Like, ready to just turn on MTV and see him, like, fucking with drama and shoving him in the pool.
Drama, dude, yeah. And then when it came to Fantasy Factory, I'd be hard pressed to argue that kids our age and like the entrepreneurship, like the want and desire to be successful and like want cool shit is because of Fantasy Factory.
You're probably right.
Because like he just had like a 3-wheeled car that he'd eat donuts in and then take like a mini bike into a foam pit while shooting a basketball.
Yeah.
At like 35 years old.
And brand it and sell it as something.
Yeah,
like
exactly.
He was so good at that. So I totally understand where all this stuff comes from. But like, what's the point of it if you're not like having all of the fun?
That's
Like every kid's dream my age, like all of the guys that I know and hang out with, it's like to be able to have your own company and like facilitate and help your friends' companies in one generalized location where you can just be idiots.
Yep.
That's a dream,
yeah,
bro.
Dude.
That's a dream. He'd put on these events. He'd bring skaters. They had a skate competition at his like office.
Yeah, as long as have a skate park.
Yeah, dog. And they the winner got a car. It was like a $20,000 like Ford Pinto. Or something.
Yeah.
And one of the guys that came and competed got second place, and they gave him a sword. That was his
I remember that, yeah.
And then he like asked somebody for a ride to like get home after the skate event, and the guy who won the Pinto was like, "Bro, I will totally take that sword if you just want this car." And he was like, "No way!" Dude, like that was the realest thing ever.
That's awesome.
He's no longer that real. It's so depressing. Big Black's death personally affected me.
I forgot about that. He was so huge.
He was.
When did he die? A couple years ago, or was that like 10 years ago?
I think I looked
Christopher
this up
Boykin?
recently. Yeah, Big Black Boykin. I want to say it was like 2011, 2012. No, was it that late?
2017.
2017.
That feels about right.
And he died. Rob talked about it recently. Actually, I keep bringing him up because I still follow him, and all his stupid fucking Instagram posts come back up. But he was talking about it, and like he decided to turn his life around like 2 years too late, pretty much. And
I remember when he got on that health kick towards the end of Robin Big.
Yeah, he was doing really good, and he had a kid and all this stuff, and then he just the heart disease got to him, and
Yeah, as it would have.
he was gigantic.
Because what was he, like 400 pounds?
He was so big.
I had something to say. I forget. These beers are pretty good.
Yeah, these aren't bad. I've had these before. Shout out Four Hands.
I like Four Hands.
Four Hands is like one of my favorite St. Louis beers.
What's the one they always have on draft, the IPA? The Incarnation?
Yeah. Incarnation. They do Incarnation and
Who does Citropolis?
Modern Brewery. Jesus Christ, Tito.
Handsome little fucker. I had something else to spin from that. Sorry, people. We're just getting right back into it. I can't believe it's been 2 years.
Yeah. I actually was thinking about it on the way over. I was like,
that's crazy.
Yeah, it had to have been 2 years ago.
I fell off so hard. I've been trying to get back into it, though. I'm sure you've seen that shit I've been posting everywhere.
So,
last time we talked, I didn't even have TikTok.
Yeah.
And now I'm posting on TikTok.
Like, with scheduled posts.
Yeah, that shit's so convenient, man.
Nuts.
It's because I pay a dude in Pakistan to edit those.
For sure. As you should.
Yeah, I tried to learn it.
Support local business.
God. Yeah, dude. And, like, what I've learned, you got to outsource at some point, dude. And, like, I was, like, 10 hours deep into learning how to, like, add, like, fun subtitles and cut and all that stuff. And then I went on to Fiverr, and this guy was like, I'll do it for $10.
Fiverr. Yeah,
and I was like, you're my homie now. And now he calls me brother.
Yeah, hell yeah, dude. That's what you always just find, like, an Indian man from somewhere.
But, yeah, the scheduled post, because I'll give him, like, I don't know, just call it 10 of them.
Yeah.
And he'll have it done in, like, 2 days.
Easy.
Something like that. And then I go in there and spend like an hour with the captions and blah, blah, blah. And I can schedule them out for the next like 10 days if you want to. Yeah. And I don't have to worry about it.
No, you also had, I saw one recently where it was like face. It was like face
he did that, yeah.
He did that? I'm learning, okay.
Because the ones that I just posted with the doc, Dr. Hirth, I had him not do that. Okay. And I was like, I want to see how I feel about both sides of it. Because the first one, you were the first one I sent him, and because this shit was over here, so we couldn't see it ourselves. Yeah, and he was like, "You have to move these." And I was like, "The next one, they're gone." I know
that makes sense.
I don't know. I haven't felt. How do you feel about that?
I like the
when it just cuts to one person.
Yeah, because I feel like a lot of the clips that you see on YouTube and whatever. Anyway, it's just like the highlights. It's like you want to hear and see the person talking, and you're watching it on a 3-4 inch screen. Exactly. So like the wide view is great, but you're not seeing like actual personal like faces and inflection, emotion and stuff. Yeah. So
okay,
I like it. Yeah,
noted. Thank you.
And I was gonna ask you how you did it because we've talked about that.
Yeah, all he did. This guy does great work.
Damn, I'll just tell him I'm homies with you. Maybe he'll.
Right there. What's from WhatsApp. His name is Malik.
Malik.
Yeah, he's from Pakistan.
Damn. That's not even that wild of a name.
I know. And one of our, I don't think that's his real name. Well, because now I'm on to his second account. Dude, I don't.
That's a good American fake name. To have, I think, because we're like, is it real?
Exactly. Do you use WhatsApp?
I had it in Costa Rica and stuff like that.
I can't find it here. But I guess you can have like a subject line or something, like almost like a Facebook status or something. And his for a while was "What is dead may never die." Jesus. And like when I would get these, "Hey, your order's ready," it would say "What is dead may never die." Hey, your order's ready. I'm like, who the fuck am I working with?
I don't even know what that means.
No, dude. And it does like it's not popping up right now, but it's like I don't know what it is. I don't know how it works. Yeah. But I got his initial Fiverr account banned because in our messages, I was like, thanks for WhatsApping me. And then like 2 minutes later, docked. And he was like, hey, brother, don't say that.
You can't do that.
And I was like, we're brothers now.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes, sir. I stand with whatever side that you stand with, brother.
But if Fiverr, shout out Fiverr. The freelance community I am so pro that. For sure. I sent him just the YouTube link, and then he asked for timestamps, and then from the times, I had to give him like precise timestamps, like 33:40 to 35:19 kind of a thing, and then he'll just cut it. Some of the subtitles are wrong because I just don't bother to go through them, and then he'll do that face thing if you want it or not.
We learned how to make YouTube shorts really easily.
Yeah, I heard that was pretty easy because don't they have just a thing on like your homepage or something?
Just cut 15 seconds, which is it's like 5 seconds too short. Like if you could get 20 seconds, you could get the entire
I get
run of a joke or but the 15 seconds is like just a little bit too short.
Is that YouTube Shorts? It's only 15 seconds.
It's all they give you an option to make. I don't know if that's what they restrict on their platform, but they only let you make them. Also, you could probably pay for something to just they will just let you do whatever if you pay them $2 a month. But
everything I've read about growth with this stuff is that's like the new frontier right now because of everyone, just the sheer size of YouTube. Yeah. And how untapped, like, obviously everyone knows what a YouTube short is, but compared to TikTok or Instagram, how untapped it is, it's pretty easy to go viral with it.
The most viral, we had a couple, I mean, we don't even have that many subscribers on YouTube or anything. Like
I think I've got 30.
Oh, that's
26.
Blowing us out of the water. Like we do way better on like Spotify and like ours isn't necessarily, we don't need to see our faces as much, but
46.
Hey, that's not bad. The most viral video that we had, like we post TikToks and stuff here and there, and sometimes they're not even like of recordings, they're just us doing a like
52.
Hey,
you guys got me beat.
Word.
Shout out. I'll subscribe.
I had no idea. Go off.
Go off then.
Our most viral TikTok and our Instagram reel hit 1 million views, which was super.
That's sick. Was that the one of you calling the score?
No, that one didn't even do that well.
That was kind of dope.
That one was awesome. I thought that video was great, but it was me Snapchat recording just a series of play. It was Arsenal versus Man City in the Community Shield, first game of the year, and it was Martin Odegaard just like. It was 10 seconds of just, like, really funny events.
Yeah.
Like, he's a really, really good player.
What's his on, TikTok or?
Go to, are you free on, Instagram. It's probably one of the top reels we have. I think you already pulled this up there. Oh, it's not. I thought we pinned it. Oh, it's that one. Yeah.
1 million.
1
Holy
million
fuck.
views. And it's just a, tries to send this pass, blows it. And then he's like, nah, I'm going to go get this ball back. Nutmeg. He falls on the ground, throws his arms up. Like, it was just a really funny sequence. And I was just like, I watched it live and was like,
that's funny.
Backed it up. I was like, nah, this is funny. And that was the one, like, it was none of our faces.
Right.
It was nothing that we contributed at all. Like, it's so random.
It's crazy how that shit works.
It's so random.
And the algorithm and all that. Like,
I had this feeling. I was like, this might hit. Like, this might be a really good video. And I put, like, a couple hashtags, and it did. Like, sometimes you know when you've got something, but...
Arsenal Odegaard. Use the O, whatever that letter is.
Oh, yeah, I couldn't even tell you what that...
Where's the one of you calling the score? Here it is.
So we've got the Budweiser Clydesdales here. Going to see if we can get a quick interview from them. You guys have a score prediction? I think this said 3-1 City.
And we won 3-1.
3-1. That was after like a bunch of neutrals.
Nice. Hell yeah.
I think the drunkest game that I'd been at, sorry mom, but was the first game that we went to. Obviously, I had tears in my eyes walking into the stadium, but like we were out there for 3 hours.
Yeah.
Like, we were in one.
I mean, with that kind of event, dude.
It was like everything that me as a kid could have ever dreamed of. Like, I became this huge, English soccer fan, which, if you're not a soccer fan, it makes zero sense to have a team in England.
Right.
Like, that's stupid. But the things that I were jealous of them was, like, the community, like,
camaraderie.
The amount of people that live in the area that just will walk and go grab a beer before a game, and, like, we are cheering the same, like it's everything you felt with, like, the Cardinals team, but it was in an atmosphere and event that we'd never had before. And I just, like, sought that out. Like, these guys get on the tube, and they're, like, partying in the tube to go to the games, and they're walking down there the one street to get to the one pub that's right next to us. Like, we didn't have that. Now we're all Maggie's, like, like, just going crazy. It's so fun.
So you think this has been this soccer team, and obviously how well we've done, you could have never expected that, but you think they, like, knocked out of the park with execution?
In every asset.
Wow.
In every facility.
I went to a day Sunday game. Whoa. I've yet to go to, let alone a Saturday game, a night game.
Yeah.
And I really want to see that Sea of Red.
I was an entertainment management major at school. So, like, I applied to, like, 12 different positions for St. Louis City, and they didn't give me a call back for anything.
Sorry.
Yeah.
I want you to continue that. Last time we talked about how you would want to try and get a job with them.
Yes.
They weren't even a team yet.
They weren't.
Oh, my God. Full fucking circle.
Damn. I even went to, I'm a season ticket holder.
That's crazy.
So I got a season ticket, and I knew everything about the club, about what they were going to do, about the ins and outs. We went on a season ticket tour like tour of the stadium before it was like 100% complete, and we basically got to like pick our seat and stuff, which is a really cool event they did.
That's cool.
But we're with one of the manager ticket reps, and she's giving the tour, and like, you know, Nick Totter, Dan Hornsey, whoever I was with, were like asking questions to her, and I was just turning around and answering them, and then going back like, that's right though, right? Like she's like, yeah. And like by the third time, she's like, so like, what's your name? And we started talking, and I explained my background. I was like, I was an entertainment management major. It's like I applied to like 5 or 6 like just ticket broker positions. So I was like, I was this major at school. I was like, I went to a couple Super Bowls. You know, I've kind of got some experience like that. And she was like, what was your name again? Like, she's like, you said you applied to these positions?
That's
and I was
sweet.
like, a bunch. And she was like, I never saw your name come through. Like, well, I have some biased opinions as to why I wasn't called that I won't air out on this podcast. But, I was like, I would have been perfect for this position. Yes, ma'am. But, you know.
I'm already better than you.
And, you know, I'm with a 9 to 5 at a company that's great, and I do something completely unrelated, and they pay me more than you could pay me. So, like, at the end of the day, sorry. But that, you know, I think the, like fallback, if I really end up hating everything so much, I'll go work for $35,000 and sell tickets.
Right.
Like, that, I'm in on that. Like, you do what you want to be, like, passionate about, and you never work a day in your life. I'm working a lot of days right now. Like, I'm not doing anything that I'm passionate about, and my company knows that.
Real estate, baby. Gotta have the passion.
Dude, it's someone's gonna pay me to do it though. So whatever.
That's crazy. Full circle.
Yeah, insane. So now I'm a 27-year-old normal white dude with a corporate job and a podcast about the team that I watch and support.
Maybe they'll give you free tickets. So you think every asset, like the stadium, I think that stadium, I've yet to go to a night game, but when they turn those red lights on, dude, I gotta see that. But the first time I went to the only time I've been to one of the games, how the stadium's like in the ground, and when you're walking up to it, it's like a piece of architecture. It's like, that thing is sweet.
It's like, it's the most appealing stadium / large venue that we have in St. Louis by a long shot. Dude. Like Peabody Opera House or whatever it's called now. Like that's
Stiefel.
Sure, Stiefel. Sure, that's a thing. But like physically from the outside looking at it, it's beautiful.
It is really cool.
That's number one. Number two, it's 31 or 32 feet dug into.
Is that what it is? So it's at a section, half a section.
It's the entire first level. Okay. The entire first level is under.
That's
the ground
awesome.
level. So.
Because when you walk into it, you see it from outside, like, that's a cool stadium. You walk into it, you're like, this thing's massive.
Way bigger than you thought it was.
That's cool.
So the concept on that was they built these overhangs that prevent sound from going out.
Oh.
So it's like...
Is that why every soccer stadium has that?
I don't know if they all do.
It seems like a lot do.
Yeah.
For whatever reason, I was looking at Old Trafford...
Yeah.
And then I was like, the overhang. And then who else was I looking at? Real.
They're about to build a new one.
Are they?
It's going to be silly disgusting.
That's
the new one.
And they've got because they have that too. That's for sound.
I think those specifically to Real Madrid are probably just weather related.
Sure.
But they like the ones in St. Louis.
As you're saying, sorry.
No, you're good. The Old Trafford ones looked kind of like the St. Louis ones though. But it prevents sound from going out, so all the sound that echoes up goes back down.
Yeah.
And the natural pit that the field's in is like already susceptible to all this sound. So like they intentionally made it.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
They intentionally they made it with the idea to trap all the sound and focus right on the field. Like the objective was to be one of the loudest like soccer specific stadiums in
like a Seattle Seahawks 12th man kind of a thing.
Yeah, for sure. And Seattle plays at Lumen, the soccer team, but they don't fill up the top row.
Right.
But the concept is the same. Like that wall of sound comes straight down.
Wow.
So it is. Like I saw someone.
So for a night game, is there that effect? Is it that loud?
It's that loud.
Damn,
yeah.
that's awesome.
Someone had a decibel meter at the last game. I saw it on Twitter. It was like 110.
Holy shit!
Like, and this.
So that place is rocking.
Loud, dude. It's so loud, and like, it's when not everyone's standing up yelling all the time. Like to be fair, most people are standing. Like I said the whole time. Yeah, at all other games I go to, but we go to this like I'm super passionate about this. A lot of my friends are super passionate about this, and apparently my section of season ticket holders are also that passionate about it. So we're just up being like English fans.
Yeah.
We're right next to the away section. So like Kansas City or LA brought some fans, and they're all in town, and we're yelling at them. Like it's everything I've ever wanted. Yeah, it's everything I've ever wanted. Like we're coming up with songs. It's so dumb. Like it's so dumb to think about like how I wanted this to be like an English event. It's never going to be that because it's American and it's a whole different set of rules and the world. But
sure,
like
whatever.
We make it ours.
Yeah.
And it's so fun.
It is awesome. And when I was walking up to the stadium to see that many people all buzzed, all buzzing.
Yeah.
It is awesome.
Really cool.
And then how they did the all the food venues in there. So when I was there, I was blown away at the options.
Yep.
The beer selection
Amazing.
is like this shit.
Yeah.
Like you're not just paying $25 for a Bud Light or whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
I looked it up because I was like, these are crazy food options. Like this is. I looked it up, and it was basically like an application process of tell us why you should be in here.
Yeah.
They only allowed it to St. Louis restaurants or food trucks.
Yeah.
And then whoever they accepted for however your reason in, they covered the owners and developers covered the entire cost of every kitchen in there.
Damn.
So all of the whether it was like the I think Balkan has a thing in there.
Yeah. Antonino's has a fucking toasted Rav truck.
The hot dog truck, Steve's, I think.
Yeah.
So all of those places didn't have to go $50,000 out of pocket to outfit those kitchens. It was all covered by the stadium. Sweet. So they're all basically just 100% profit.
Yeah.
Which is so sick.
I got to go to Cardinals games and St. Louis City games in the same season, and like I'd go to the Busch and be like, these fucking food options suck, bro. Like,
I'm going to shit my pants on the way to the bathroom with these nachos.
Yeah, dude. I'd rather shit my pants with some Balkan shit. Like, if I'm going to do it, give me something fire. So there's an empanada stand that's like slept on that me and my buddies have made our place. Like if someone forgot to eat before, like empanadas.
Dude, it's and it's not like empanadas, Balkan treat box, Steve's hot dogs. Like it's not just a burger stand and a nacho stand.
Yeah, me and Kevin got like Korean noodles with like Korean beef.
Dude, it's so sick.
Like, where are you gonna find that? And I that's what I mean when I say like in every facility, I think they did it so right. The fans themselves are knowledgeable.
Yes.
They know what's going on, and like I'm seeing kids that I haven't played soccer with in 15 years at these games, and we're both like hammered. Yes, like the first day I saw so many guys that I played with at Lou Fuse when I was in middle school, and we were all just like so gassed up. Like,
imagine how like sad the flip side would be if we were. What are we? How many games are we in? Like 30 games.
32 is the full season, so this will be the 32nd game. Last game.
What are we? 20-12 or something?
With some draws in there. Yeah.
Imagine if we were 8-22.
I think
8-24.
I think if we were if we were that bad, I think we'd all be like, first season,
right?
Like we're all having a lot of fun. Like,
do you think the stadiums would be season tickets would be still out the ass?
Yeah, I saw that.
Or not season tickets, but
they were
tickets to slate the season.
They were out the ass before we'd played a professional game.
Did you see the prices for the playoff games? When's the first playoff game? Next weekend?
Not this upcoming, but the weekend after. Yeah, the 29th.
Did you see those prices?
Resale,
dude.
Were they like $200, $300, $400?
It's like, I think it was lower bowl. So granted, I think it was lower bowl, but they were starting at like $370 a pop.
Yeah. So I got my season tickets and I bought the strip. So like they came to you and were like, you can either opt in or opt out of the entire strip of however far we get in the playoffs. And I was like,
yes, next question.
My tickets face value were $90.
Dude. Holy fuck!
Like me and all my buddies were like, they sent me the invoice. Like, it was gonna be $90 a ticket for the first round. Like, they'll increase obviously as the playoffs go on. But I was like,
that's a steal.
And two of our buddies can't go to the first game. They're like, I may just make a bag.
Yeah, seriously.
Like, I may just cover like 40% of the season ticket cost that they were cheap as hell anyway, dude. They're like $34 a ticket. Like, it's been so affordable. It's like the price increase has already been ridiculous. And they did like a 3-year buy option to where you could lock in your season ticket price for 3 years.
Oh, no shit. So obviously you took that.
Yeah, obviously I took that. Like, I'm not going anywhere. I was going to stay for it. And if my friends don't, I'll just inherit those, whatever. I was prepared.
You got a waiting list right here.
Hell yeah. My ticket price is probably going to be $300 to $400 more expensive next year.
And you're locked in at $90.
No, not playoffs, just for the full season.
Oh, I got you.
It was like $32 a ticket.
Yeah.
So I've sold all of mine to like friends or something for $40 and caught $8 a ticket.
They bought you a beer.
Yeah, exactly. Right. So they have announced that they're going to be like I guess it would be like $45-ish to $50 a ticket next year.
Oh, your playoff tickets are $90 face value.
Just the one playoff ticket
Holy
is $90.
Shit, dude.
And they're being resold for
buckloads
of dollars.
Yeah.
So I think it would have been full had we sucked, just because everyone's so, like, at that point.
Dude, it's like having Cardinals tickets this year.
Exactly. Yeah, to a certain degree. It's our first year, and I think if we suck and we're coming up on Seattle last game and we win, we would act like we won the fucking Super Bowl.
Right, absolutely, 100%.
Yeah. Fans rock. Like, it would be the most fun. We'd only seen 3 wins at home all year. Like, that would be great. So I think the stadium would be packed. It's like, we've said it on the podcast a bunch.
Well, it's like Cardinals. Sorry, keep going.
No. We said it on the podcast a bunch. Every game's felt like a St. Louis playoff game. And we haven't even gotten to the playoffs with this team. So the playoff game atmosphere at a location where every game's already felt like a playoff game might be bonkers.
Yeah.
Like, I guess 92 or 94% of the season ticket holders bought the Strip.
Whoa.
So that's why the resale tickets are so high, because no one can get them. Like, most of that stadium's going to have, like, someone who was there for the whole year to just rage and get into that.
Soccer fans,
dude,
which that is so sweet. I'm so happy for that.
Yeah,
and shout out to the kids that are playing. That's what you want. That's who you want up there.
Yeah, we've got a youth program, man, and like we've had one of the deepest, like, just general, like, geographical locations in terms of soccer anywhere. Like, we're up there with a couple California
for a while,
and we're
our
a couple Texas
our development program between Gallagher and Lou Fuse is insane.
Lou Fuse. We've got, I don't know the other, like, select teams, but we've got like U12, U13, U14, U15, U16 St. Louis City academies.
Wow.
So we've got this, like, we're just literally pulling the raw talent out of CBC, DeSmet, Riga, Marquette, like all these high school teams that we're getting, the cream of the crop are going to the academy. Like, St. Louis Scott Gallagher Academy has just been one of the best in the area for forever. So now they're getting picked off players because there's a real pathway, because we played fucking this kid Miggy Perez probably 10 to 15 times this year.
The Padville kid?
Yeah, he graduated in May, high school. And he was playing real MLS games and scored a goal in front of, like, his family the week after. Like, those are things that can happen.
That's crazy. For your hometown, too.
And it's like, that's never been a possibility.
Right.
Like, these, like, Greasaber. Greasaber come out of, high school and had, like, St. Louis City, like, been on their academy, he wouldn't have been playing for Marquette. He would have been scoring goals on this professional team at 18 years old. Yeah. And just that path just would have been set for him.
A kid you had biology with.
Did. Yeah, exactly.
That's crazy.
Ridiculous.
That's awesome to hear. Good for those kids. I hope that all shakes out.
We've got kids now that, like, Miggy and Caden Clark and one other kid are playing for the United States men's U18 team. And, like, they're going on, like, international tournaments and stuff because they're getting this look in real life professional. Yeah, no, it's that was something that I didn't, like, I could have anticipated, But, like, seeing it happens, like, this is the coolest. There's always going to be a St. Louis kid on this team because someone from the city is going to be good enough.
Yeah, I agree. And I stopped playing soccer when I was like 10. Yeah. But when I moved here, that was just something that like, I picked up on really quickly, was that soccer in this city is like through the fucking roof.
Yeah.
And then obviously got to high school and I started hearing about Academy. Mm-hmm. It's not just Academy is the best team in the city. And they're like sick.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, oh, so St. Louis is like good at soccer. And people are like, no, like we are one of the cities for soccer.
Guys would go to Germany in like sophomore years in high school with this Academy team and play like Hoffenheim and like these German Bundesliga teams there. They play their academy and like win and compete. Ridiculously talented, all of them.
That's so dope.
Super cool.
Because for all the other sports, we are.
Yeah, I listen to St. Louis City has like a podcast series themselves, and they'll just bring players on and talk to them for an hour. I listened to one most recently with Kyle Hebert. He's a center back, left back. We had an HR 200 level class together at Missouri State.
No way.
We're the same age.
That's sick.
Like, me and Kyle Hebert were in a group project in an HR class to where we were like, if I maybe said something to him today, he'd be like, oh, shit, yeah, dude, I remember that. But, like, we weren't buddies. Like, he had his own path, whatever, mine. But he was talking on this podcast. He was like, the way that the St. Louis fans just immediately understood the gameplay and how it was going. It's like, when someone makes a big tackle, like, we're on our feet. Like, people are just gassed up. And, we were pressing them in the corner and won a corner kick or something. And, like, the whole stadium was losing it. He's like, I didn't know they were like this. Like,
hell
I didn't know that everyone, like,
because to know, you had to know.
Yeah, like, we play this pressing style, and, like, we want it, like, we refuse to not play this style, so if it doesn't work, it's pretty evident. But when it does work, it works really well. And when, a small thing like that happens, everyone was going nuts. And he was like, okay. Like,
so we've got fans.
They know it.
That's so cool to hear from a player.
So cool.
Because you always hear that about baseball and the Cardinals. Like,
yeah.
For whatever reason, we have the best fans of baseball. Like, everyone loves playing at Busch, blah, blah, blah. But to hear that from a player for the new team from the supposed soccer city, it's like, no, we showed up and we showed out.
Kid from Canada that played at Missouri State. It's like, I've been to St. Louis like 5 times. Like,
that's really sweet.
So dope. So fun.
I'm so happy to hear that. I got it. I'd be spinning an arm and leg on a playoff game. But at the same time, I feel like I should. Yeah. Like, because me and Britt last year, our Christmas shit was Luke Combs. And it's like, well, why not just do the same thing but a month early?
Yeah. For sure. There's a lot more emotion on that. And,
like, if you're going to go to a game, like, the playoff game, to be able to go to one and, like, we win, we're going to be off our tits. That'd be sweet.
It's going to be a bunch of sad people if we don't.
Yeah, but still.
Yeah.
We're going to be routed.
It's going to be lit. Every playoff game, I've been to a lot. I'm a blessed kid from St. Louis that my family just loved the sports, and we do that all the time. So, like, I've seen the wins and the losses of St. Louis in the playoffs, and it's going to be that on steroids.
Yeah. Which is how you'd want it, though.
Yeah, for sure. I seek out extreme atmospheres. Like, I want to be a part of psychotic people.
I'm only on the edge both ways.
Feeling the same way about if this team wins, I'm going to die. I loved it.
They scored a goal, I'm going to kill myself.
We watched the first game that we'd ever played. They were in Austin, who last year went to, like, the Western Conference Finals. Really, really good team.
We watched it at TAM.
We were at Big Daddy's. I was with Kevin Grass, Ashley, Monica, a couple people. We
watched something at TAM.
And the stream cut out in, like, the 60th. Well, they scored their first goal, and I'm, like, running around this point. Like, first off, didn't know we'd score at all. Like, I told everyone on the podcast, I was like, I think we could win this league first year. I'd, like, followed the scouting or the sporting director that we have, and I followed what he was doing, and he's a fucking genius. But we had this team assembled, we were about to start, and I was like, first year, we're going to do it. And, you say that in the back of your mind.
Yeah, you say that.
Like, we may just blow. And then we scored our first goal, and, like, it was like, it was euphoric. Like, I didn't know how to feel. It was like, I didn't think
because in reality, you could have waited 4 games for that to happen.
We scored 3 goals in the first game, and the last game-winning goal in the 87th minute. Like,
Some of those games have been rocking.
They've closed them out late, and like it's so fun. But we won that first game, and I bet on St. Louis for the next.
Dude, you rode that for so long.
Like 10 games, probably. Like, because the way that we play is like we leave ourselves super open in the back. So we leave ourselves open to goals on our end. But it's such an offensive style that we could also score. Aggressive. Super aggressive. We could also score 3, 4, 5, and we have a bunch this year. We'll just hang them up. So, like, I was always like, I would bet the over. It was almost always 2.5. I was like, joke.
I tailed you so many times.
I would bet the over as a safety net, and then the money line, and we were up until like the 7th or 8th game. Like, I'd heard from Kevin Church he had a buddy that worked in a book in Vegas.
Oh boy.
And
Walker.
Yeah. So
I
MLS is so volatile and like hard to actually predict that Vegas doesn't give them a lot of like lines, like odds makers. Like the lowest of the low people that follow the sport are setting the odds, and no one questions it because it's so random.
Really?
No one cares. So those first 7 games, we were plus 300 at least.
I remember that.
And we won 5 or 6 straight.
Weren't we 6 or 7-0, something like that?
Yeah, we were the first team to ever win our first 6 on
the
expansion side. So
next to Seattle, who did it like 5 years ago, a couple years ago or something like that?
10, something ridiculous. Like I made so much money off of them, and I kept blindly betting it. Like first game, you have no like,
as you should.
It looked good. I was like, second game, let's do it.
Dude. First game, we're plus 350.
Third game, it hit the like 5th game, and I was like, why are they giving me this much money? I was like, I'm going to ride this the entire season, and I have, and I've lost a lot on that too. But I'd still say I'm plus
a good hefty amount. 10, 6 in a
units.
row.
Yeah, dude. Oh, some of those I'd put. I was hammering them, which was so irresponsible. Like,
fuck it,
so dumb.
It's your team.
It was genuine. Like, you never bet with passion, and I find myself exclusively betting with passion. And that was the only time in my life that it's paid off so hard. Like,
fuck yeah,
cashing.
Well, if you mean it's your team, that's how all my buddies are. They're Chiefs fans. Okay. They are degenerates when it comes to betting the Chiefs. And when the Chiefs lose and their bets lose, dude, we might as well be getting by a comet,
dude. Meteor IPA.
Yeah. Did you see that shit the other day about McCaffrey and like how he scored a touchdown in like 14 or 15 straight regular season games? What are we, 7 weeks in, 6 weeks in? So maybe it's been since he got traded to the Niners, whatever. Going back to like regular season games, I think. Fact checking on this, whatever. His pass, like he scored a scrimmage touchdown, so rushing or receiving, whatever, in 15 straight games. And if you would have started out, I think it was with $100 on his anytime touchdown. Since starting in that game and rolling it over, you'd be up like $120,000. Because and it got to the point where like a couple weeks ago, his anytime touchdown was negative money.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Which, I mean, he's questionable for Monday night, and he's still probably going to score a touchdown.
Yeah, dude. He might not even play.
Exactly.
That's ridiculous.
I fucking love it, though. It pisses me off. Dude, something that pisses me off, I've got a note in here. So we've talked about, like, making content and shit. And, like, I haven't made, like, TikToks, but all these are, like, ideas I have of just, like, rants I want to go on.
Fuck yeah.
One of them is...
I promise before you go, anything that you make, I will watch. I promise you, it's funny whether or not you think it's funny. Someone like me is going to find that fucking
I appreciate it. Fuck yeah. Just like your basketball one the other day, dude. I was hollering at that.
Dude, I thought that one was going to go crazy. I was like, yo, this is a good one. I'm sitting on some gold. Got like 50 likes and like all my friends.
Yep.
Sick.
That's gold, dude. One of my things is it pisses me off. We're in Missouri. If betting is not legal in your state, I should not be getting ads for it.
Yeah, that's bullshit.
It's fucking stupid, dude. You're talking to me about odds boosting, and hey, look at like the guys on fucking Monday Night Football pregame are talking about these parlays you can sit, and I'm like, dude, I could get like a $10,000 fine if I get caught gambling on this game. Like, This shit, it pisses me off so much.
And like they're like these parlays, they're like plus 800, and like in real life, if I was in a legal state, they're like $1.
Yeah, fuck
like
it.
$80 on that would be awesome, but I have a $10 minimum because I have a bookie.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm not throwing together a bunch of 8,000, plus parlays because I'm going to lose that $10.
I've got a guy that's going to T-bone me at a stoplight if I don't pay up.
Dude, if Rusty knows that I'm not here anymore, like he's
going to be me at Joya's with a baseball bat.
I've got names that I won't name drop because they may actually listen to this, but one of my bookies owes me $300+.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
And
he just won't text you back.
He won't text me back because I referred another guy who apparently owes him $1,000. So
he's like waiting on him to pay him.
Yeah,
to pay you.
He's like, so I'm texting both of them like, hey motherfuckers,
fucking pay.
I'm stuck in the balance here. You're out this much. You're out not as much, but still out. It's like one of you needs to.
Just split it 50-50. Both of you pay me $100, like, we'll call it even.
I was like, I don't care who sends me $300. If someone sends me $300, we're good. I'm done. You won't hear from me ever again.
This will all be fine if just Missouri could fucking figure it out. They're missing out on so much. It's the same thing with weed.
It's the same thing.
They're missing out on so much tax money.
My
people are gonna do it.
I don't know how. My dad is a good barometer of politics.
Yeah,
he's a public school teacher, so he sees a lot of that side of life.
Yeah,
but he's also old timey. Not old timey. That's not enough respect to my dad. But like he's older.
Yes,
and his he's like a natural conservative. So that's his barometer of what's right and wrong. I totally am with, and I base a lot of how I feel about it because how does my dad feel about it? And like,
fair.
The weed stuff came in question, and me, I was pretty pro the legalization, but I'd ask him, I'm like, objectively, a guy who doesn't partake at all, I'm like, what? He's like, if Illinois is gonna just sell over there, he's like, why would we not just do the thing to get the taxes? I was like, that's such a normal person viewed. Like, we've lost money in taxes for forever to every other state around us.
It's insane.
And then we sit on our hands when it comes to ballot, and they don't vote on it.
And people wonder why our schools in the city are not doing so hot.
Oh my God, dude! You know that?
Like, well, you've waited 25 years to tax a multi-billion-dollar industry.
Yeah, and they did it with even our taxes in the weed industry were like 4% less than what Illinois.
Dude, it's crazy. It's crazy how much lower it is.
So we let it in, and then we were like, wait a second. Why is this? We're the cheapest tax. Missouri has the cheapest tax in booze, cigarettes, and I think we're top 5. Correct me on that, maybe.
Through the nation?
In the nation.
Whoa.
We are the cheapest state. We are the cheapest state to buy weed or tobacco.
Every state cannabis. Spelled that wrong. Cannabis tax.
I couldn't spell it right now, so.
We're 6%. Okay.
I think California and Colorado are low because they've had it just for forever.
Is that the right Google? Did I search the right thing?
Probably. I don't know. You said every state, and it just brought up the Missouri Department of Revenue, so.
21 have it recreationally. Okay.
My parents they've been on the wave too, even when I was younger. Like every time that something came up to tax tobacco, like 0.5%, they'd be like, yes, because it's
just sheer amount of money.
Cheap. It's so cheap for what we're buying it at right now. Like I could buy a rack of Natty in college for $13, bro. Name another state that you've ever been to where you found a rack of Natty for $13.
That's less than 50 cents a beer.
Yeah, bro. We're in Texas, like
Holy
visiting our
shit.
friends in Dallas, and they're like, yeah, just pick up a rack. And it's like $34. Like in LA, visiting Jacob and JP, and they're like, yeah, just pick up a bag of Bud Light. It's like $28 for a 14-pack.
That's when I know I'm on some fuck shit, is when I go to like Gulf Shores or somewhere in Florida or something, and the case of whatever, or the handle of Tito's is like pushing $50. I'm like, where are we, dude? That's when, oh my God. I get it because yes, thank you. like Hawaiian, like transportation, shipping. I was in the Caribbean, Bahamas, whatever, one of those islands on there. Yeah, and they had like a convenience store on property that it was like the only place without having to take a taxi you could buy tobacco and liquor, and just like pints and stuff.
Sure.
But they had a jewel that was $100, and it was like, well, it's either you buy it here, or you pay to take a taxi off property, somebody you don't know, and you buy the jewel for $60.
Did you buy the jewel?
No, I didn't. But I was in there like just at the time, and I was like buying, like I went in there for like a Coke or something. Yeah. Like I just went in there, and I saw they selling. I was like, oh shit! Like I wonder what it's for. And it had like $109. Yeah. And I was like, dude.
That's America, or that's not even America. Like you'll still like I went to Fort Lauderdale with Monica, my girlfriend, and like we were like hiking across Fort Lauderdale to find 7-Eleven or like something just to buy some booze.
Yeah.
And we walked in and it was like $32 for a bottle of Tito's. I'm like, you are absolutely robbing me at gunpoint right
your
now.
Drunk ass mind.
Dude.
So some of this shit, we're 6%, and this is not sorted, but we're here at 6% excise. Michigan 10%, Montana 20%,
15, 10, 12.
21% Virginia, 37% in Washington.
Washington?
What?
Dude.
Holy fuck.
So, like, they've already gone through and been
from 6% in Missouri to 37% in Washington. So we might be lowest. I didn't see anything lower than 6.
Oh, my God. I think you're right. Because California and Colorado have such high have high supplies that they're just general products.
It says California 15% excise levied on wholesale.
So, like, they've just got a lot more excess to where it's cheaper in general. We have the cheapest booze, tobacco, and weed tax. I respect the hell out of what we're trying to do, but I also live in St. Louis City now, and you've seen that TikTok guy that's like, welcome to St. Louis.
The pothole guy.
The worst drivers in America. And he's
insane.
The worst drivers, the worst potholes, the worst roads. It's
the worst roads.
Dude, the worst roads.
You seen that shit of the guy? I don't remember. It could be any city. But he goes around just spray paints dicks on potholes. And since there's a dick on the pothole, the city fixes it in like 24 hours or something.
Genius.
Hilarious.
Vigilante.
Yeah, he put like I'm talking like 4-foot dicks on these potholes. And like red or yellow paint or something. It's like, well, we can't have that in the middle of the city.
It's genius.
Yeah. Yeah. Dude? Catch me on Kings Highway painting cocks.
Oh, yeah, for sure. That's safe, dude. I don't even like to drive on that highway.
I have to take Kings Highway home every day, and how I get to work, I like kind of like sneak through the Grove almost. And then on my way home every day, I have to take Kings Highway. I'm just like, and then I have to get on 40 at Kings Highway. And that alone is like 15 minutes. I'm like,
dude, Kings Highway and Hampton for real.
But yeah, like the tax thing, like obviously I don't know. I'm not a big economist.
Shock.
And I don't know law either. Yeah, shocker.
Turns out.
Yeah. And I was never big on macro or micro. But so I know that if we don't have to raise taxes, if we just tax shit like this, we have more money. And if we're smart with it, we can fix a lot of issues.
Yeah.
Like, what is it? Wasn't it on 420 this year? We were like the second or third highest ever sales in the nation for one day.
You could just tax it.
Or was the day got legalized? Some shit like that.
It was one of those two. I think it was like day 2 of
and I think we had the second highest in the nation, only behind Colorado. Which is like, dude, you drive down to Farmington and you see like 6 dispensaries on the way.
Proper dispensaries in the middle of bumfuck nowhere.
Exactly. And you see like Suede's website and there's one just in like Hillsboro.
Yes. Dude, we could just also tax, like, we don't even have to like break these numbers. We don't have to be like, hey, we're going to tax it so crazy. We could just meet the standard.
Yeah.
And I can guarantee you 4% on weed is going to do something.
Yes.
It's going to do something. I'm not that. You can't be a Republican and vote for less tax on the weed you're buying because that's a conundrum.
Right.
So, I mean, I would lean myself a little conservative, but, like, I'm also buying weed. So at a legal store, like, just I'm willing to pay for that. Like, there's a lot of taxes that I'm not willing to pay for.
Nope.
This is a recreational. I could definitely live my life without.
If the weed tax goes from 6% to 12%, I am still gonna buy the weed.
Still gonna buy it, and I'm gonna maybe just buy less.
Exactly. Instead of buying $130 worth, I'll just buy $100.
Yeah, I'll just back it off. But maybe my roads will get fixed.
Yeah, and that's such a shame. I had some work stuff up in North City, like.
They get hosed, dude.
Yeah, that stuff is so sad. It's so sad.
So fucked up.
I had my sister was looking at an apartment by SLU College. And a year or two ago, I had some work stuff up, like, maybe like a mile or two north of SLU, but it was, like, just past the street where it was, like, this is where it gets sketchy.
Del Mar?
It wasn't Del Mar.
Washington?
Because we were too far east. It wasn't Del Mar. It might have been, I don't know, whatever. It was definitely north of Del Mar.
Okay.
But, yeah. And in, like, so we were left SLU, and then we did like a mile up, maybe 2 miles up, and I just did, like, a little loop around. We came back down, like, maybe a 5-minute drive.
Yeah.
And in that, I showed my sister, like, these things I had for work. And then in that process, we saw 2 abandoned schools. And I was just like, yeah, that's cool. You can buy that school right now for like $300,000. She's like, what do you mean it's a school? I'm like, yeah, it's completely abandoned. Like, it's an old high school. And that is so fucking sad.
Yeah.
Because, like, it would be so, I don't know shit. But with the amount of money that we bring in from taxes, we could revitalize those schools so quickly into, like, a Marquette or something.
Yeah, I mean, that might be a little bit of a stretch.
But you know what I'm saying.
What you're saying. Exactly. Like, with like Trav and Dan and some of those guys, we looked at a house that was off Washington, which is like 3 blocks south of Del Mar.
Yeah.
So we were like walking distance from a bunch of these Central West End, like, cool little bars. But I took my mom to go see it, which was probably a mistake. And I'm driving on Del Mar to pull and take a right, go 2 blocks to Washington. Mm-hmm. And we're driving on Del Mar. I'm like, I'm not going to live here. And it's not anything about anybody's fault. It's just like my mom's looking around like, Andy, you going to live here? Like, well, I didn't know we were this close. I don't know. And it sucks. And that sucks. And, like, you don't want to, like, oh, my God, I'm not trying to get too into anything. But, like, you don't want to gentrify shit. But
right.
You also, like,
you want to revitalize it.
Yeah, yeah. But you also don't want to live near somewhere where you might be not safe all
right.
the time. Like,
that's what there's so there's in this area just north of the West End called Hamilton Heights. Mm-hmm. So so we're just north of Central West End. Yeah. All the time. So, like, southern Hamilton, for people that are listening, Hamilton Heights is like maybe a mile or 2 north of Forest Park, in between Skinker and Kings Highway. And like that, so like all those World's Fair homes are like in here, and these are like multi-million-dollar homes. And then, so everything in here was constructed at the same time. Mm-hmm. So there's 4 families up here in like southern Hamilton Heights, like the West End area, Academy, Sherman Park, but it's north of Del Mar. So people are like, what's the word?
The divide.
No, the
red lines.
No, the fucking stereotype.
Oh. Like,
of north of Del Mar.
Yeah.
It's like, and it's sad because if you go and see these like 4 families that are for sale for like $200,000 in like this immediate area, if it was here, they'd be like $3 million because they are beautiful brick and stone buildings that were built 100 years ago. And they're huge. Like every apartment's like 2 or 3 beds, and like the entrance is massive with like huge stonework, and they're so precise, and it's just so fucking sad to see. Wild. And like to your point, like you don't want to quote gentrify it, but like someone has to come in there at some point and buy them out and redo them. Mm-hmm. But then like, well, if you're gonna redo them, you got to raise rents, and then the people that already live there can't afford those rents.
That's gentrification.
Yeah, it's so fucking sad.
And it sucks, like, I don't know. I don't know what I lean. I said I was conservative too, but like you sit here and it's like, The only thing that would make that general area better is some intrusion of money from the city.
Yep.
Like just a little bit to build it up a little bit and revitalize some of it. Like people will come if you you build it, they will come.
Yep.
Like that happens, but like it's been so neglected for so long. I did hear though, Monica was telling me this. We were in Central West End the other day, and like a lot of those like absolutely massive, gigantic old money houses that are there. The people that are living there now are like the grandchildren of people that actually originally owned them. They don't have the money to support them. So like a lot of these houses,
they barely can't pay the taxes, kind of a thing.
So a lot of these houses are like borderline abandoned, but like because they can't sell them because they're worth a shit ton of money, but they also can't afford them to where just not even keeping the lights on is still like running them out of the bank. So like I don't know politically what has to happen there, but like something has to change to where.
And those aren't houses that you can just like go and flip.
No.
Those aren't flip houses.
No, dude, you're spending $4 million on the house itself, and it probably needs $1 million in renovations. The World's Fair, I forget that was here.
Yeah, right. And then like, just like out of nowhere, like because that when it was here, I don't know if there was. I feel like it was a big deal because it was here. And what was it? 1904. 1904 World's Fair?
We were before Chicago, so I think
we were before Chicago. 1904, yeah. We were before Chicago?
I think so.
Because I feel like, it's probably because we live here and that was a big one. But I feel like it really fell off really quickly. Like you never hear about like the 1922 World's Fair or whatever. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, look up Chicago's. I read a book about Chicago's, so that's like, well, that's not true. I read a book about the Columbia.
1893, 400th anniversary of Christopher Columbus in 1492.
So there was one of the first ever documented serial killers was operating via the Chicago World's Fair.
Get out.
Yeah. He's, I think, don't quote me again on this, but I think a lot of like, what's that musical with the butcher who's like a barber?
Sweeney Todd.
I think some of that is taken from.
Here you go.
Yeah.
H.H.
Holmes. He ran a.
Dr. Henry Howard was an American con artist and serial killer actor between 1891 and 1894.
He was a full-blown con artist. Like, he was an insurance fraud specialist. He would
he
would help people fake their deaths and like agree to a percentage of their insurance payout. He was a studied like mortician and like called himself a doctor, but like didn't finish his doctorate, but like operated as a doctor.
Got you.
So he would help people fund insurance fraud back then, which was probably way fucking easier.
I bet that was a fun job.
It was a trap, dude. That was probably a trap. So he would like steal bodies from morgues and present them as this guy who was scheming with it. So he schemed his way to buying a pharmacy right outside the Chicago's World Fair. So when people were like, I mean, more people than the city had ever seen in the entire like time that they'd been a city, people are coming in and they've built all of this shit. They had like
27.3 million visitors.
They were like consulting with like Parisian architects to build these. Like he was undercover of everything. There was nothing that would have implicated him. Like he redid the pharmacy that he bought, completely had it regutted, refinished, and he'd hire on a construction crew, like tell them what to do, and then fire them, and then bring on another construction crew to help build onto what he was having built, because he didn't want anyone to know what he was actually building. So he would continually fire construction crews.
This is probably much of the lore attached to Holmes concerns the so-called murder castle.
Yeah.
Which is probably the pharmacy.
Well, the main floor was the pharmacy, and the other floor he had like 3 floors or something, and there were chutes to dungeons, to trap rooms, to safe house rooms, to
just a fucking madhouse.
Murder castle. It was a murder castle, and they.
So right here it says, despite his confession of 27 murders, including some people who were verifiable still alive, blah 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 blah. Tabloid pieces some accounts estimating his body count could be as high from 133 to perhaps 200.
Yeah. And in 1984, or in 1894, you're not finding those people.
No, fuck no.
And he was doing it at like a speed and quickness at which no one had ever seen.
Like kill a person in the morning, killing the person in the afternoon.
He would just bring people in, find a way. He was like a super charismatic guy, apparently. He was the original Ted Bundy with zero modern policing.
And did you see somewhere, or you think that this is like the inspiration for Sweeney Todd?
I think
you just kind of put it together.
Because like the way that movie and musical plays out, it's like he's got trapdoors, and he's a general, like he's a really nice, modest guy that you come across in public, and you want to go get a haircut from him and stuff, and like that was what this H.H. Holmes guy portrayed himself as. Was like,
this is crazy,
modern day pharmacy guy, which back then they were given fucking cocaine and Coca-Cola, to feel better, or something.
Pain notice,
which I get. You could buy heroin off the shelf, because that was what it was. So he I mean, you think about how easy that might have been. I'm no serial killer, but he was doing it. Like he did. No one knows how many people he killed.
That's right. It's crazy that. So what we've been from. He confessed to 27, could be 133 to 200. Holmes was convicted and sentenced to death for only one murder, that of business partner and accomplice Benjamin Peitzel. It is believed he also killed 3 of his Peitzel's children, as well as 3 mistresses, the child of one mistress and the sister of another. And he was hanged. God damn.
That dude had
bodies. That's 1894 for you, man.
I know. And he had
God damn. He
had so many wives, and that he divorced her.
H.H. Holmes, if you guys want to look this shit up.
He's
dude, I'm going to read this whole thing, lady. Since the 1990s, Holmes has also been described as a serial killer. And his book about Holmes, I wonder if there's anything in here about Sweeney Todd. Oh, let's just do Sweeney Todd.
The book, if you want to read it, was called Devil in the White City. And it's super cool because it takes 2 different viewpoints, and it takes one of the viewpoints of one of the new up-and-coming architects that was contracted to help build these buildings for the 1894 World's Fair. And that was the peak of being an architect at that point. No other job in the world compared to helping sculpt out and put together plans for buildings that were going to be used in the World Fair. And then it would cut the chapter, and it'd go to be H.H. Holmes invited another young woman into his pharmacy to prescribe something, and and then it would just switch to him being a dastardly, savage man, and
Holy shit.
would win girls.
What's
over
the name
with
of
his
the
charm.
book?
Devil in the White City.
Devil in.
Yeah, it's
Eric
a fire
Larson.
book. It's a fire book.
Use Goodreads.
No.
I've been getting back into reading, and I have a Goodreads account, and every time someone suggests a book, I add it. It's like your watch list on Google.
Oh, nice.
Kind of a thing.
You want to talk about another book that I just read? I'm
Devil in the White City. Keep going.
I don't read as much as I'd like to.
Yeah,
Mostly because I have a horrible time. When I was a kid, dude, I'd read books.
Dude, all the time.
I'd read books for days.
I would blow through a Harry Potter book in 2 days or something.
It'd be so easy, and I loved it, and it was so fun.
Series of Unfortunate Events.
Yes, those, dude. We got started on the Goosebumps.
I
read the Goosebumps.
Magic Treehouse.
They're coming out with a Goosebumps movie that is the first book.
Oh.
And I saw the title, and I was like Raven flashback, oh shit, I know everything about this. I totally need to see this. But I read another book, and they're coming out with a movie about it, which is actually the reason that I read the book, because my dad was he'd read it previously, and he was this book's fucking so sick. Oh shit. What's it called? Dude, I just read it. It's about the American Indians. The Osage American Indians are coming out with a movie.
Killer Moon.
Killers of the Flower
Leo.
Moon.
Yeah. That movie looks awesome.
Unreal. I saw
Killers of the Flower Moon.
So I saw the first.
And then whatever you were just saying, this right here.
Yeah. I saw
Killers
the
of the
first
Flower
preview
Moon,
for
the
that movie.
Osage murders, and the birth of the FBI.
Saw the previews of that movie, and my dad had talked about it.
I didn't know that. Okay, keep going.
What?
Birth of the FBI.
Yeah. It was Hoover's first ever, like he was the first ever director of the FBI, and this was the first ever major, like regional case that the FBI took on.
Published in 2017. That sounds like it just should be older.
It like the way this guy wrote it really, really well, and he had a bunch of like post book notes about things. So he's like, I couldn't piece these parts together. Like a couple of the crimes and things that were happening were so well done that, you know, there's no. So there's the kicker is it's the start of the FBI, but it's also the fall of the FBI. It's like
you just read this.
I read this really recently, with the anticipation of going to watch this movie first weekend of.
So now I got to add this to my fucking list too.
This I powered through this one too. Like if we read the same way, this one was an easy read, and no, it was super cool because all the Osage Indians at the time in Oklahoma were pushed onto these reserves in the early 1900s,
right?
And they like owned the land. Like the United States government gave them the land. Like we won't move you again. Have this reservation type thing. Mm-hmm. Turns out they were just on like the richest deposit of oil in the country. So
classic.
So all the Osage Indians owned the mineral and land rights within the reservation, and they started to make so much money. Like it was like an obscene amount of money for these Indians to be having. They're driving around in Rolls Royces,
mm-hmm.
like they had mansions. They were living up the American dream, simply because they lived there, and you know they'd let someone come in once every 5 years and tap it, and you know sell all of it and feel great.
Right.
So they owned all these mineral deposits, but the government and the city and the region basically decided that they were making too much money and came in and like granted conservatorship over the Indians and their availability of the money that they own. So like a white man in the city basically was the conservator, like the account operator for the Osage Indians, and they gave him, like, it was like an allowance basically. Towards the end of it, it started to get really fucking shady. But that was the objective, was all these Osage Indians just started dying. Like a lot of them. And
when does this book take place? Early 1900s?
Mm-hmm. Like really, really early.
Like 10s, 20s, something like that?
Yeah.
Close about.
So the concept was that
that movie looks so good.
So good. And now that I've read it, I've seen the like trailers, I'm like,
you're pumped.
Oh like that Leo meme. I see Leo and I'm like,
yeah. So who's he? Who is Ernest Burkhart?
Ernest Burkhart is Molly Burkhart's husband, and in real life, Ernest Burkhart was a American cowboy from Texas that just traveled up north looking to ranch and find work. His uncle was William Hale.
3 hours and 25 minutes.
Holy shit.
Jesus. Yeah, William Hale. His uncle's William Hale.
His uncle's William Hale, and he worked for his uncle for a while, met an Osage Indian, married her. When you married her, you didn't necessarily get the rights to the land and the oil rights. So, like, a lot of these older people in the city were the conservators for these Indians. But, like, once you were the last surviving member of that family, you were handed those rights. So, not to spoil.
Putting it together.
He and, like, Ernest was a good guy. Like, Ernest had right intentions, and, you know, I think he is probably, like, one of the better people of the movie. But even at the end, he was entangled in something that he couldn't, like, unravel.
Right.
And he was just being also used as a pawn to help move all these oil rights to the white people and get these...
Per FBI.
The FBI came in to try to stop it. The FBI didn't do a good enough job that they told the government, told everyone, we did it, we tried, guy, we found him, it's all good. When in reality, like 40 to 50 people probably escaped out of either custody or just questioning because the FBI didn't have that kind of like coverage or leverage. So people were just getting away with things left and right. And the FBI was like, no, let's write that in. Like, they lost a bunch of documents. They lost, like, so, and Hoover, like, what was it, Herbert Hoover at the time? Is that who it was? Not Herbert Hoover. Might have been, yeah, back then. Yeah, it was probably Herbert Hoover.
Maybe.
He was, like, so proud of himself and so proud of the FBI that he, like, refused to acknowledge when they were wrong kind of thing. Mm-hmm. And that, like, was a tragic flaw. And basically where the FBI's, like original issues and why people are still not totally trusting of them today was that they started on fake ground. Like, they came in, solved this issue, did great in the region, and they solved like 20% of the issue and scrubbed records and did not leave things for public viewing. And that was a lot of this guy's book at the end was like, there's so many things that are gone because the FBI lost them.
Scrubbed it all.
Yeah.
So this is going back for a while, everything that we're iffy of.
Yeah. And it makes sense. Like, the Indians were having, like borderline riots that were like, we're all dying. Like, please come help us. And, freaking out and doing all this shit. And, nothing ever really came from it. They just solved the problem that the United States government needed solving, which was an issue in Osage, Oklahoma. And it was done for a while, so see ya. Have a good one.
I gotta read this.
Yeah, this one rips.
I also didn't know it came out tomorrow.
Yeah, it does.
So tonight would be the premiere. Whatever.
Well, I'm not
3 hours, 3.5 hours.
That's
crazy,
that's
dude.
Time to have a movie, dude. No
God
way.
damn.
No way.
Let's take a second. I'm gonna grab those other beers. I gotta piss.
All right.
FBI and all that. Things I wanted to hit on. I mean, we kind of caught up on everything. What we're about to spit into. Well, one, we'll talk about it at the end. The FBI and all this. So we were texting conspiracies.
Yeah, I'm ready.
So, dude,
I knew this was gonna come after like 3 beers.
Favorite fucking shit is that Chicago's World's Fair. Have you seen the stuff about that? So do you know about the mud flood? The conspiracy with the mud flood? What? No. So the mud flood, I don't know when it was supposed to happen, but to my recollection, the mud flood was supposed to happen like maybe 300 or 400 years ago. And it was like basically like not an extinction level event, but so much like torrential rain across the world.
Okay. Yeah.
That it caused a mud flood. Mm-hmm. And everything that we have built is built on top of that stuff. And like their evidence is like, well, which we have. Like there are buildings. Yeah. Like if you go to New York City, like half the city is like, I mean, there's 100-story buildings that are built on top of like 20-story buildings. Yeah. And like, that's just like the new level ground now.
I mean, dude, my house is built however long ago. It's having foundation issues.
Yeah, exactly.
Everything is just, yeah.
And so like people like, there's stuff that's just like dug up and it's like, this is the mud flood. Like I'm getting to this because the Tartaria goes to Tartaria, which is like my favorite shit ever. So, right. So everything's built up here, but then...
Oh, I know what you're saying.
Yeah. And so this is World's Fair. And so you can kind of see it here. This is like modern day London. And they built on top of something that was already there that was covered up by this mud flood. Anyways, the stuff... Have you seen the stuff with the Chicago World's Fair? World's Fairs in general? And like the conspiracies behind them. A lot of people, the conspiracy is that we took because like the whole thing with, I think it's JP Morgan, who like tried to kill the people in the Titanic came up with the stock market and the Fed and all that shit. So part of it's all tied in is when the gasoline car came around and they found out they could monetize the gasoline. Same time with Tesla. So all of these World's Fairs, like dating back to like a while, because like the light bulb was unveiled at one of these.
The objective of the World's Fairs was to show the newest
new tech,
greatest,
And some of these World's Fairs, like we only have so many images and like so many records of them, but like at the Chicago's one, they had like 20-foot wide, 3-mile long, like conveyor belts, like the things at airports.
Okay.
That took them like out on the lake. Whoa. And so, like shit like that. They had like electric motor scooters.
Yeah.
And like if you just go to Forest Park and like you see what was at our World's Fair.
Yeah. Which is
compared to the fucking buildings that we build now, it's like the whole thing just like doesn't add up. Mm-hmm. And there was the Hindenburg. That's like a whole conspiracy because it didn't actually crash. That was like an inside job. That's supposedly at some of these world fairs, and like you can see the huge pinpoint thing, like lightning tower looking rods on these buildings. Those are charging points and parking stations for like airships.
Whoa.
Yeah, and it goes like so fucking deep.
So you said it, but like it doesn't make sense that we regressed.
Like we regressed hard.
We regressed so hard. Like some of this architecture was some of the best of all time.
Like, dude, you go like the World's Fair Pavilion in Forest Park. Mm-hmm. Like it's a gorgeous building. It's
beautiful.
And nothing in the city has been built. And like look at the World's Fair homes that are on Skinker, Lindell. Like we don't build homes like that anymore. They're all stone, they're all brick, they're all perfect. Yeah. And so I'll have to send you some shit. And like if you've seen an overlay of what like the 1904 World's Fair in St. Louis. Yeah. So we have a picture.
Oh, shit.
Have you not seen this?
No.
Oh my God.
That's our hill. Like that's.
So we have a picture in our office of what like essentially like a helicopter photo of what the World's Fair in St. Louis was. Mm-hmm. Dude, they had like ferries taking them around from restaurant to restaurant in Forest Park. Like the big pond thing at the bottom of Art Hill.
Yeah.
I don't know the name of it.
I don't either. Pond.
There was like ferries in there with like 30, 40, 50 people taking them. St. Louis World's Fair, yeah. Let's see. Dude. Yeah, so we had these grandiose fucking buildings. Like huge, all of them are torn down. All of them are gone. No. And they were all built supposedly just for the World's Fair. And then as soon as the World's Fair goes on for like what? A year and a half, all of them are just torn down. And it's like immaculate architecture.
And it happened at all of them.
Look at these big ass boats are taking people around Forest Park. And now all we can do is kayak in there.
Yeah, almost a little fucking paddle boat thing.
Look how big this shit is. And it was all torn. And every World's Fair, this happens at all of them. And Chicago was like 2 or 3 times the size of St. Louis.
Yeah. That was their whole thing.
And they're built, these buildings are built in like 18 months. They use them for 18 months, and then they tear them down in like 3 days. And so the whole thing is like, well, why the fuck would we tear them down? And like we just saw in the Chicago was for 24 million people went to it.
Yeah.
And then the other, look at this.
Yeah.
That's Art Hill. Holy shit. That was there. That's not there.
That's not nope.
And this is what people were doing. Look at that. What is there, 20 people in that boat?
Damn. When did the World's Fairs end?
When was the last World's? Nope, not World War.
Oh, I could have guessed that one.
There's one 2015.
Okay, well that's stupid.
And then the Chicago one. So the whole thing. Have you ever heard of the documentary Who Killed the Electric Car?
Yeah.
So we've had electric cars since like 1900
for minutes.
Like as long as cars have been had, we've had electric cars. Yeah. And there's a movie like about the whole Tesla thing and the whole oil thing and JP Morgan, the Fed and all that. It's all like intertwined. We offer the guy that came up with the electric car because you can't make money on this one. Yep. And the Chicago one is like, look at all these. So it used to be every year.
When did it end? When was the okay? My mom, I'm 90% confident my mom went to a World's Fair.
So
go to
this year's was in Buenos Aires. But like you don't hear, these used to be 26 million people. Like you don't even hear about. I did not know these were a thing.
I actually didn't know they were a thing at all.
Yeah.
No.
And I feel like, hey, we should go to the World's Fair this year. That would be sick.
That would be so cool. Who would you be able to convince to do that? Be like, yeah, dude, they've got the coolest and greatest.
Yeah, dude. It's like, yo, if we go to the World's Fair this year,
it's in Kazakhstan.
We're going to see the first flying car.
Yeah, bro, that's what I would expect.
And at the Chicago one, they had a, for where your mom went to, it was probably in the 80s, 90s.
No, before, she was a kid. but it had to have. It was 53. It was 53.
Oh, it's back in St. Louis.
She probably didn't go then because she don't think she would. Intended to commit, but it never happens. Never.
Oh, Seattle maybe 62.
Maybe.
New York City 64.
Totally making this up.
San Antonio 68. Shit, hold on, go to San
Antonio, bro. I've been there. That place sucks.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Why are you guys here,
dude?
In the Chicago one, they had a Ferris wheel. I'll send you some of these TikToks. Okay. Hopefully, I can like repost them or something.
Yeah.
But they had a Ferris wheel that like puts any Ferris, like it was like the size of the London Eye kind of a thing.
Yeah.
And back then they had the cars that you rode in held like 100 people. Not like 30 people, like 80 to 100 people.
I've been on the London Eye.
Yeah,
and it still feels like a fucking. It still feels like an OSHA issue.
Dude, right?
Like
264 foot tall.
That's ridiculous.
I don't. The one that's still there. I don't know. Yeah, 36 gondolas holding 60 people each.
Dude, that shit's on.
2,160 people at one time.
That shit's on the Eye.
Yeah.
And the Eye is like a modern marvel.
Yeah.
Whoa.
London Eye, right?
Yeah,
Just London Eye?
London Eye.
How many does this hold? Blah, 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 blah.
I don't even know meters. Get out of here.
I just want
passenger capsules. 32 sealed capsules.
From 1 to 33.
Excluding number 13. Holds up to 25. That's not even close.
Not even fucking close. Yeah, and that's like a modern marvel.
Yeah.
And this thing was shits on that thing.
Yeah.
And it was just like way back in the, and it was like, oh yeah, we just like have it.
So you're saying that.
And then we went to the Great Depression, like we went through the 50s and all this stuff. Yeah, that's like the whole thing. And it's my favorite one because there's like a whole lot of like iffy tech that's like, well, why don't we still have that one?
Yeah. Why don't we have any of that? What was happening?
The World's Fair one, I'm sure it'll pop up on your phone now. But people, if you like conspiracies, go into TikTok and just search like World's Fair conspiracy or like whatever the fuck, the Chicago. But these guys, like, there's this one guy I follow who has a book that was published in like 1902 or something, and it's like one of the last like 5 that are still around, and it's like a huge book, like I mean, like a foot wide, a foot tall.
Sure.
Kind of thing, and he'll like go in there and there's excerpts of it and it's like you can't find any of this stuff anymore.
Wow, that's not something that I had thought about.
I'll send you some of this shit. It's my favorites, and I always send it to my buddy Charlie. He's like, "What are you sending me?" I'm like, "Dude, lost tech,
dude.
It's lost tech."
Something happened where we lost all of this. that was the whole thing of that book I read, was just like it was this crazy world modern marvel, and then we stopped having them. Like it was like Chicago, St. Louis, a couple of those were the last ones that were like actual what they represented World's Fairs of people coming and being a big deal.
So like let's that list of World's Fairs. So like let's just pick one. I don't know. 2000 and just pick one of these.
Expo 2000, Hanover, Germany. Top one.
Only 18 million people. And so let's pick the most recent one. Expo, well, that was COVID. So let's do Milan, Expo 2015. 22 million. And it was 490 acres. The one in Chicago was like almost 700 acres.
That makes no sense.
And it was on the lake, and it's crazy.
Hundreds of millions of people. Like that was, I mean, to be fair, comparatively from now and to then, like, if you were going to buy a ticket to go across the world to go see something, it was probably what you wanted to go do.
Yeah, 100%.
That's what you wanted to go see. And it's not nearly, like, I got Twitter. What's going on at the expo?
Right, exactly.
I'll just Google it.
Someone's live streaming it.
Yeah, exactly. But the gravity of what they were is not the same.
Because it was the unveiling of, like, this is next.
Yeah.
People.
We're showing people the new world. Like, we're showing people what we could be in the future.
And, like, so going back to, like, that Hamilton Heights stuff I was talking about, and how I was just showing you that oversight of what Forest Park used to be. Imagine if that was still the case.
Yeah.
I mean, those buildings are huge. I mean, just look at the World's Fair homes. They were, like, some of the biggest homes around. Damn. And we just tore that shit down.
Because we don't
For whatever fucking reason. I don't know. What are your favorite ones?
Favorite what? Conspiracies?
Yeah. Let's get into it.
All right, so I don't know if it's like my favorite, but I think it's the most believable.
Okay, pause. What you're saying, favorite or believable? Are there any? I don't want to say believe in, but that you're like leaning towards. It's like,
I think
if that maybe that's what you're about to say.
I think the one that I've got two, I guess.
Sure.
One of them's modern, one of them's not. I think JFK was assassinated by the CIA.
That's all but confirmed.
And like it's all but confirmed. And everything that I would say
that
right
one's
now,
way too sketchy.
Everything that I would say right now would just be regurgitated from RFK Jr.'s interview with Lex Friedman.
Yeah.
And
listen to that podcast.
And he, like, also love that dude.
Yep.
Like, it's stupid how much I like him. I just wish his voice wasn't like that.
It's so rough.
It sucks. I hate listening to him. But
I actively try and clear my throat ever since
all the
listening
time.
to him.
Yeah, it just makes me uncomfortable that he like actually sounds like that. He's John F. Kennedy's nephew.
Right.
So like if anyone has grounds to talk about the conspiracy of John F. Kennedy, it's probably his nephew.
And he's in it, dude. And he's been in it for 50 years
and
now.
He's like the political ideology reincarnation of JFK, which a lot of people really liked back then.
That's who I'm named after.
A lot of people, really?
That's my siblings. All of us are named after the Kennedys.
That's
Jack, Caroline, Kennedy, and Joe.
Huh.
Yep. Jack is him. He was called Jack. Caroline was her. Kennedy is Kennedy, and Joe is his brother. I think his brother, maybe his uncle.
Damn.
My mom had like an infatuation with the Kennedys.
I feel like that's like a tragic fate type thing.
Yeah, we'll see.
Throw that on you. I think JFK was murdered by the CIA for a whole lot of reasons, and you know it would all come from that podcast. But like I'd known stuff previously, but like to like sit there and explain that to your parents, and like I would need my dad to listen to it just so that what I was saying would make sense.
Because you're gonna miss out on
and that was like
minute details.
That was like our 9/11. Like I remember 9/11.
Right.
Like that we're one of the last generations to actually be standing and like watching the TV to be like, oh yeah, that for sure happened. So my dad was like 10, 11-ish when JFK was assassinated. It was like a national tragedy.
It was like 64
something like that. Yeah, he was born in like 56, so he would have been like 8 years old. He remembers that vividly, and it was a national tragedy, which it
on live TV.
Live TV, yeah.
1963, November 22nd.
Okay, so he would have been like 7 or something.
Sure.
So
that's what it was us, 9/11.
Exactly.
You remember it?
My mom picked me up from preschool.
Yep.
Because some bad men were attacking New York, and I was like, oh, I remember watching the second plane hit. Like first plane hit, we stopped doing preschool. Our parents were in the pickup line. I was like, this is weird. Got in the pickup car, went home. My mom was like trembling, like not okay.
I can't imagine.
And then we get home and we're watching it on our little island kitchen TV. And I remember the second plane hitting. My mom be like, oh yeah. So that was weird. But like that was the first like national tragedy event type thing that I remember, which I assume is like my parents too, our parents. But not John Wilkes Booth. What was his name? Oswald. Yeah. He was like a documented CIA
Ultra dude
and CIA asset.
Yeah.
Like he was an accomplished sniper.
Yeah. Oswald. What's his name? What's his first name?
Roy Harvey.
Lee Harvey.
Lee Harvey. Where did I get Roy?
Yeah, whatever.
Lee Harvey Oswald. He was an accomplished, established CIA sniper. Like that was his background. I don't know about the MK Ultra stuff.
I think he was part of it. Whatever.
Yeah,
Marine Corps Reserves, blah 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 blah.
He was a very, very accomplished man in the military. And there's a whole bunch of other, conspiracies about two shooters and blah, 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 blah.
Like magic bullet or whatever the fuck.
Regardless of the second bullet, this man probably could have pulled that shot off. But whether or not he did it on his own prerogative of hating JFK and, or being fed by the CIA was, its own sense. Because the whole thing was that JFK was like, hey, the CIA is doing some weird shit that I don't approve of. I don't like it. I'm going to stop it. I'm going to fund you guys. He was very much so outwardly, publicly against what the CIA was doing.
CIA is the world's biggest terrorist organization.
Damn right. They've always been the problem, bro. Like
Did you see that clip of when? Because our Theo Vaughn had RFK on. Mm-mm. Did you see? Have you ever seen any of those clips? He asked him straight up. He was like, "Let's say you win. Are you like worried?"
Yeah.
He's like, "What do you mean?" He's like, "Well, your family doesn't have the best history." It is a hilarious. Like RFK starts laughing, and like you can hear the guys in the background, like, "Oh no!" But I mean,
it is a valid question
because he wants. That's like his main thing. If he gets in office, he's like, the CIA is gone.
He's going to release all that.
Yeah,
he's going to let everyone know that it was probably them doing it. That's wild. This is the biggest terrorist organization. Yeah,
they are.
I saw it was a Chiquita Banana.
Hopefully, we're not, I'm already on the list. Whatever.
Do you know? Yeah, for sure. You know Chiquita Banana, the company, like Chiquita, like.
Oh yeah, the imports bananas. Yeah, I guess I never knew the name.
Yeah, yeah. You know the sticker.
Yeah,
like,
you know the sticker.
You know the sticker. So they tweeted. And it might have been fake, and it might have been I don't know the details about it, so I can't really get into it super far. But like they tweeted like something about like the Venezuelan government, and they're like, you know, we don't condone blah 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 from the Venezuelan government or whatever. And someone said something back to them like, "Didn't you guys?" And like, we haven't overthrown a government since 1942. like Chiquita Banana came in with the heat and was like, we overthrew a South American government like because of trade costs. like that type of thing happens so often that we can't even like recognize.
No, and we'll never have any idea.
We'll never know. Well, none of us ever will. I think that one's in my mind the most believable.
Yes.
Like, there's so much documentation and available resources that like don't lead up to the CIA assassinating him, but have enough, you know, plausible, like, connection.
There's been enough people of prominence and authority that have said it where it's like, you have no reason. You're already a governor. You're already a senator.
Yeah.
You're out of this. You're already worth $1 billion, whatever. You have no reason to be saying this stuff. They're like, they did it.
Yeah. Yeah. There's a lot of people that stand by that. And I'm going to take the word of the nephew who was alive and was a witness to all of this happening. Like he, like in that Lex Friedman podcast, he's like, I love John. Like I loved, like, you know, Jack Kennedy. He was like so good to me. He was just such a good guy, yada, yada. And like the country loved him. Like
country loved him. He was a spokesman.
He was a spokesman. Like Republicans were like,
he was young. He was like 40 years old too.
This guy might have a point. He was sleeping with Marilyn Monroe before it was cool, and like
before it was cool,
doing the affair thing that like it wasn't documented. Like all like I don't remember who I was talking to. It was a parent of someone, and was like, it was my grandma. My grandma was just like, we didn't know the personal lives of presidents like that. Like, he was for sure the first president to be like publicitied, like, and to have like people following him because people
know his kids.
People knew who his kids were.
Yeah,
people knew what they were doing. They were like, he was under a microscope for the first time ever. Like, my grandparents were like, we didn't give a shit what the president did prior, as long as everything was working out. Yeah, everything was cool. Like, our opinions were based on what the news told us, and turns out the news doesn't tell the truth much. No. So that one to me is like hard nailed on. Like, you can't tell me that they didn't, kind of thing. I don't know if I want to get in super far on it, but Hawaii fucks me up.
Dude.
Maui fucks me up.
That one.
Maui fucks
Project
me up.
Bluebeam and all that.
Maui fucks me up.
It's, for those of people that aren't aware, again, we're not saying we believe. We're talking conspiracies.
Yeah, make that clear, because Monica...
However, I am full fucking tilt.
Yeah. Monica brought it up to her parents, because I brought it up to her a bunch, and was just like, something fucked up about this.
So people that don't know, the Hawaii shit, that wildfire, it's awful, it's atrocious. I hope everyone recovers. What happened, well, supposedly what happened is the fires that wiped out everyone, Maui, right?
Yeah, it was Maui.
Annihilated. And like how the fires spread shouldn't have, like these fires like basically engulfed pavement. and like they melted cars, and like you only see these wildfires. Again, I'm not an expert. I'm just repeating things. Wildfires only get to like X hundred temperature, and cars, aluminum, steel only melts at like 1250 or something.
Yeah,
which is like 2 or 3x of what a fire gets to. And the only way that these cars can melt is basically by like directed
heat to
energy.
that degree.
Yeah.
I think
and everything to get wiped out, borders and touches, like just someone that's in the fire, or not figuratively under the fire, is Oprah, because she has a property that touches it and hers wasn't touched. And like people of that scope have properties around it that weren't touched. And BlackRock, if you don't know what BlackRock is, get out of your rock.
Real estate moguls that just decide that they want to buy.
And they've been trying to buy all this like underdeveloped or like basically native land.
That was a rule within the Maui government that you couldn't sell native land to outside non-locals.
And then like 2 weeks before this happened, there was some law that was passed, some regulation, whatever, that companies can come in and buy if it's not able to be reused in its original fashion. And then this shit just got lit up. Yeah. And obviously it's not able to be repaired. And all these people put out of their homes. And BlackRock can just swoop in.
Just take everything. Yeah. I think the biggest conspiracy within the conspiracy that I have a hard time believing, even though it's probably realistic, is like the direct energy.
Yeah, that one's just fun.
That it is fun.
It's like you're telling me that they shot a laser from space
and just torched everybody for a while.
Yeah, that's
like,
I mean,
that's the most extreme, I think, for sure.
But that's where like the conspiracy is, like when like people saw these cars, that's where like everything was being derived from.
Like why in the world are these cars burning from wildfires?
And like these cars were melted.
They're melted.
Like you could reuse the aluminum to make fucking cans.
Yeah.
This shit was melted.
They were melted. And like it would cut off at a street.
Yeah, like, exactly.
So like that's the argument against the fact that the government came in and
then like shit on the water was on fire and stuff.
The water was on fire.
Yeah.
When have you ever seen that? That actually,
unless it's an oil leak, that
doesn't make sense. No, that doesn't make sense. And for everyone who was like rich at all in the area to just have all of their land protected, you've seen the flyovers.
Yep. It's not touched.
There's been flyover pictures where it's just like everything is melted, and then there's like 2 really nice houses, and then everything beside it's melted, and there's like another really nice house untouched, and then like that one bothers me, and the fact that they did not let media and reporters into
and did you see that one guy that was like boots on the ground? He was like getting harassed.
Yeah,
and they were taking some of his videos down, like, do not report on this.
Yeah,
and then it took like 2 weeks for Biden to say anything.
The day it happened, they asked him, they're like, what do you have to say about the Maui wildfires? And he was like, no comment.
Yeah, dude.
Brother, you can't say that.
I'm not getting into that, but come on, man.
You can't say that. No. That one's the most...
That's most recent. It's just top of mind. Recency bias.
I don't even want to bring up Vegas.
Yeah, that's...
I got problems with Vegas.
That's that one's deep.
For the people who are this far in the podcast.
Oh, yeah. That's connected.
That is connected. The
Vegas shooting.
The Vegas shooting. The Vegas General Police Chief of Vegas during the shooting.
Who was like the head of like the investigation or whatever.
He left Vegas 8 months ago.
Something like that.
And went to Maui. Yep. First ever non-resident, non-local police chief of Maui.
And when all this came out, he was like the face of the first
recovery.
Reports that came out and everything. And it just so happened to be the same fucking guy. And if you want to, like, we're not going to speak to the Vegas. It's just so sad. That one's so that's terrible. But if you want to look into it, it's out there. It's.
I got problems with Vegas.
Yeah.
And like, you know, a bunch of other, like, oh God.
Yeah. So one of my favorites, going to the Chicago thing, what I was talking about, like all this forgotten stuff. My favorite one was like, so you know that trend, how often do you think of the Roman Empire?
Yeah.
So mine.
Often.
I don't.
Oh.
I think about ancient Egypt.
Whoa.
A lot. And so Egypt, and so the
how'd they build those fucking pyramids?
So the Sahara and all that, like 6,000 years ago, was as green as like the Amazon. Like it goes through phases. The pyramids are supposed to be like 6,000 years old or something. The Sphinx is supposed to be like 4,000 years old.
There's no shot.
And have you ever listened to Graham Hancock, Will Camden? If you're listening to this, I want Will on here to talk about it because we can go and
I bet.
Have you ever heard of Graham Hancock or Randall Carlson?
I know the name Graham Hancock.
So they were both on Rogan, and they're on this because Graham is an author of book. He's like big deep on like that, like ancient Egyptian kind of shit. Like, hey, there's some stuff that like human history doesn't add up. Yeah. Like then there's a lot of lost stuff that just doesn't add up. And Randall is a geologist. Like that's all he was. Like he studied rocks, he studied water erosion, that kind of stuff. And then just like happenly on a trip to Egypt, he was listening to the tour and he saw the Sphinx and they were like talking about it. He's like, no, that's like 10,000-year-old water erosion. And people were like, don't fucking say that. Because everything, all the Egyptologists,
historians,
it's like super tight in it. And like if you say anything against them, you're like, and like Graham Hancock is considered like a pseudoscientist.
Was he the guy who had the Netflix?
Yes. Okay. Yes. Ancient history. Yeah. That shit was awesome.
Yeah.
And like Göbekli Tepe and all that stuff.
He's not doing anything but questioning.
Yeah.
Like
and
general
and like
geology.
all across the world, there's these pyramids. Like we had in like China. If you ask, like people have asked China, it's like, what about these pyramids? Like don't ask us about that shit. Yeah. And same with the Smithsonian. If you ask about certain things, they'll just be like, we don't report on that, and they'll hang up on you. And so Egypt, how do we build the pyramids? And there's like, leverage, all this stuff. Well, supposedly with how we think history is, they didn't have that stuff. They had like wooden chisels and like stone tools. And this stuff, so there's another guy, I forget his name. I forget his name. He was on Uncharted X. He was also on Rogan, and then he was on Schultz's podcast, and he talks about all this. And he was like a computer engineer or something like that, like a data scientist. And he just got like obsessed with this stuff. And then he started looking at stuff. There's vases that have been pulled from around that area. And I don't know how to say Göbekli Tepe or something. If you know what I'm talking about, you know what I'm talking about. There's vases that have been pulled and they run 3D scans on this stuff with lasers. Yeah. These things are more precise than anything that's been made in ever. Like we cannot replicate it without laser cutting. And this stuff, like these vases are like 7,500 years old and they're supposed to be like 3,000 years old.
Dude.
And then I could go in and in and in on this. But ancient, and then supposedly the pyramids, all this stuff, it's a superconductor.
Whoa.
So because the pyramid used to be covered in limestone. And limestone, that's fact. It used to be covered, the entire outside used to be limestone. So it was a beautiful white,
chic,
reflected, and the top of it was coated in gold. And gold is the number one conductor of electricity. Whoa. And with there's a water running through it and just like physics and all this stuff. The theory is that it was like a hyperconductor of electricity, and something of that scale could provide electricity to basically St. Louis for free. And so the theory is that ancient, they didn't have flying cars and all this shit, but they had electricity.
They were civilized and like generally smarter people.
And that's the thing. And there's been a global cataclysm. Like Earth got wiped out 6,000 or 7,000 years ago, or 11,000 years ago, something like that. And let's say some shit like that were to happen today, we would no evidence of anything. Every building outside of the pyramids is gone. Yeah. Anything that's not stone is gone. Huh. And so if they had anything, we would never know. Yeah. We're lucky to find scrolls and old tablets and stuff just because it was buried properly with whatever. Yeah. But this, done. Computer, done. Yeah. If this house burns down, my computer's gone, let alone a fucking comet or a flood happening. Water, or 10,000 years of erosion.
3 inches of water in this building, bro.
Yeah, done. Gone. So my Roman Empire is ancient Egypt. And I do I listen to an ancient Egypt podcast on average probably once a day. I'm so in deep on it, man.
I believe it.
And that's why I like the Chicago thing. When I started hearing stuff about that, I'm like,
the math on both of those. Mm-hmm. Someone coming in and being like,
yeah,
get rid of that.
And then they talk about how you've heard there's blocks that have been built that are in the pyramid, like the size of this room.
Yeah.
And like
there's like hauling those motherfuckers up, bro.
And people are like, oh, logs, like they roll it. And there's a thing where it's like once you get to like 20 tons, like you can roll it across logs, but then as you get heavier, it's like a hockey stick, like an exponential thing. Mm-hmm. It's like at 25 tons, it's not 5% heavier, it's like 30% heavier.
Yeah.
And you get up to 60 tons, it's not 20% heavier, it's 200% heavier.
And all the pictures you see in your like history books as a kid are like Egyptian slaves.
Yeah, supposedly just pulling ropes. And like they did the math, and like if that's the thing, 24/7 nonstop, it would take like 200 and some thousand slaves to build it over the course of like 35 years nonstop straight. Yeah. And it's just like, yeah, sure. Like, yeah, okay.
I would suggest the Graham Hancock things if
it's so good, man.
He's like, a lot of these conspiracy stuff is like, you can sit there and be like, nah, yeah, that's stupid. Mm-hmm. Sometimes you just need to listen to the guy.
Yeah, just like, hear him out.
I'm a rational person, I find, and when someone tells me something rational that may be against modern history or modern what you think is happening, like, just maybe hear him out.
Yeah, dude. Like,
I wouldn't call myself a conspiracy theorist. Mm-hmm. I would call myself an open-minded individual to the fact that we may have changed history via the reason, like because of the reason that we needed to change history.
Yes.
Like, sometimes it may be bad. It probably is bad to expose the public to the fact that there was a higher realm of beings way before us, and like that would be bad for history.
Right.
For sure.
That'd fuck a lot up.
It'd fuck a lot up.
History's out the window. A lot of religions get fucked up. That would just nuke a lot of living.
And we can you can always dig deeper into all that, but like it makes sense. Like the United States government scrubbed history. The United States government scrubbed
exactly.
Like everyone, the victors. What is that term? It's a historical term where like the winners of the war, the victors of the war,
winners
write
the history.
Well, the winners write the history. Mm-hmm. Like we've won everything for forever. We've always written the history. How can you just be like, yeah, I bet that's what it was like?
That's exactly how it was.
I'm sure
I mean, forever we thought that Christopher Columbus was like the best dude.
Yeah.
Turns out he's like arguably the worst.
Yeah, for sure. Did he make it to America first and establish something of intercontinental trade? Yes. Was he a genuinely terrible human being?
Yes.
Like, these cats.
Did he rape and murder? For sure.
Listen, the two continents on this side of the hemisphere died of syphilis because they came over and were just like, well, let's fuck everyone.
Yep.
Like,
yes.
So I always think like the Graham Hancock one's on Netflix, which is great, which is good, and I really enjoyed it. And like he goes to places that like I didn't know this was a historical.
You have no idea. You'd have no clue.
Like digging shit up, and they're all digging shit up, and it's like, well, we've dated this like 20,000 years back because we have that capability now. Like we carbon date shit all the time. And he's like, this.
And that's fact.
And he's like, this rock was way before whatever carbon date that we could have possibly possessed. Now, like, it's just. I'm always like, Monica asks me sometimes, like, do you really believe these things? And I'm like,
I want to.
No, but I
want to.
It would be narrow-minded of me to not consider them. Yeah.
And that's what I talk about this all the time. Like when I'm 10 beers deep, I'm like, I'll just say to someone, I'm like, yeah, well, Hillary Clinton, she's a lizard. And they're like, what? I'm like, I'm just kidding.
Never mind. No, yeah.
It's like, you haven't heard of Hollow Earth?
I do think Princess Diana was murdered.
Yep, that's
hell in on that one. Yeah, I'm hell in on that one. The British monarchy did not like that she dated a Muslim man.
Nope.
And
that one's again. That's like same. That's like in line with the JFK one.
I think it's the same.
Cameras were like off. It's like a one-way tunnel.
It was the cameras.
Yeah, it was like a weird, like a weird accident, and then like a car left that wasn't supposed to be in there. Some shit.
She was cooler than anyone on the planet at that time. So she had like, she had like, they'd get on bikes. Did you watch any of the Beckham documentary?
Not yet. I've seen clips of it.
Super cool. It's worth watching.
I've heard it's really good.
But like in the 1990s, like there were people on mopeds with cameras, and like there was a guy driving the moped, and there was a paparazzi guy on the back of the moped taking pictures of the cars. Like that was happening to Princess Diana for sure. Could some crazy accident have happened to her? Yes. could it have been planned pretty easily? Yeah. Princess Diana's up in heaven throwing shots on Elizabeth right now, just body bagging
Lizzie's
her,
in
bro.
the dirt.
Lizzie's
in the box. Lizzie's in the box. Fuck. You got to get to dinner.
I am, yeah. Well,
we're at 2:17. We can call it if you want.
All right. I'm good with whatever.
Let's call it.
Dude.
Thank you, brother.
We get any deeper and I drink any more beers.
Yeah, we'll be at 3 hours before we know it.
And it get weirder.
Yeah. Love you, brother. Thanks for coming in.
Appreciate it, man.